Sabah al-Khair, good morning, and welcome to the official closure of ACliSAT project. The Advancing Climate Smart Aquaculture Technologies, known for short as ACliSAT, is an IFAD-funded project implemented by WorldFish in Egypt in cooperation with 3 regional and national partners: the Central Laboratory for Aquaculture Research in Abasa, known for short as CLAR, the Bahir Dar University in Ethiopia, and the Ministry of Marine Resources in Eritrea. It's a great pleasure to welcome all the gathering here inside this room. And it's a very special event for us because I can see an equal representation for all categories of the aquaculture sector in Egypt. We are running the workshop, as you may know, in a hybrid mode. So we will have the chance also for the participation of our regional partner. As you can see them on the screen, we have Dr. Richard Abila from IFAD, and we have our partners from the BDU and MMR. So if we have a look at our agenda for today, we will see that the first part will start with the opening remarks. Then we will move to a PowerPoint presentation for the project interventions, key outcomes, as well as main outputs. And then we will move on a discussion between the partners on how to scale up and sustain the results-based approaches of our project. Then we will have a testimonial video, which is another perspective to hear from the beneficiaries, who are most of them inside the room, of the smaller-scale farmers, private sectors, and women retailers. Afterwards, we will have a plenary session. A delegate member that we are waiting from IFAD Egypt office will be joining us, and we will have also the chance to hear from Professor Salah Maselhi on how we can share the vision and insight of approaching and transition to climate-smart aquacultures in Egypt. Afterwards, we will invite you, as usual, to a group photo, and then we will have the break. Moving to the next part of the workshop, we will have a chance together for 1 hour for a plenary discussion where we can exchange on the challenges and constraints that uphold the sector from adopting and transition to climate-smart systems. After that, we will quickly wrap up the session, and we will have mostly recommendations and conclusions where all the sector will have the chance to contribute as well to the session and to the conclusions. The closing remarks will be facilitated by the WorldFish and IFAD. So as not to take any much more of the opening remarks and the introduction, I would like to invite our delegates to start with the opening remarks. First, I invite Dr. Ahmed Nasrallah, Country Director of WorldFish Egypt office, to present his welcome remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Menna. Let me welcome His Excellency Professor Dr. Salah Maselhi, Chairman of Lake and Fish Resources Agency in Egypt. Dr. Salah Maselhi is the Chairman of Lake Fisheries. At the same time, he's Board Director of WorldFish, Board Member of WorldFish. Also welcome Dr. Rifat El-Gamal, Director of Central Laboratory for Aquaculture Research, the national partner from ARC Egypt. Also, let me welcome Dr. Richard Abila. He is the godfather of the project, and he's managing the project from IFAD, and he gave us support over 4 years in this project. The 4 years went very fast, Dr. Richard. And welcome our partner in BDU and MMR in virtually. Welcome partner from IFAD as well, and all participants. Dr. Richard, the 4 years went very fast, and it was just starting as yesterday. Even we passed through COVID, over 2 years restriction, we were not able to travel and move. But the project, which was very well designed and won award of IFAD design, make it works. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Dr. Harrison Karisa. He was the dynamic man with you in designing this project, and it was very good designed and allowed regional collaboration between partners in Egypt, Ethiopia, and Eritrea for aquaculture, food security, and food nutrition. I wouldn't take too much time because we have a lot of discussion later. So I'll give the floor now to Dr. Richard to give his remarks. Please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamid, for that introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be able to have you with us today for this event. My name is Richard Abila, as you have been informed. I'm the Senior Global Technical Specialist for Fisheries and Aquaculture in IFAD, based in Rome. I handle most, actually all IFAD projects in the blue economy, in fisheries, aquaculture, and related areas. So this particular one is a project that fell in my area of work. I was involved right from the beginning in terms of conceptualizing the idea together with Ahmed, with Dr. Charo, who now is not with WorldFish, and all through we have been involved in supporting the project. The project was signed by WorldFish and IFAD, WorldFish Director General and IFAD President in 2019. Actually, the completion of the signature was on 29th April 2019, and by IFAD's procedure, that became the effective date of the project. So we started implementing in 2019 April. And at that time, the completion date was set at 30th June 2022. But for various reasons, which I will talk about, it was extended to 30th June 2023, which is, if I check correctly, is about maybe 10 days from today. So it will come to completion on that day. The project has actually been implemented over 4 years at a budget of about $1 million US of IFAD. There was a counterpart contribution from WorldFish, which has helped, to be able to achieve the various objectives. So we are talking of something like about $1.2 million US. 4 years, looks quite a long time. In some aspects, it's actually a very short period. And it has been one period, where we have really felt a lot of things. Many things, that have affected our own lives and affected the project. I may touch on one of them, the issue about COVID. 1 year after the project was signed, we entered into COVID, and the world was basically, closed when COVID was declared a global pandemic. As you all know, nobody was prepared for it. We did not know how to respond. Everybody was panicking, and we basically took our lives, our safety, as top priority and closed everything. For a regional project like this one, which involves 3 countries, where even without COVID, communication was already a big challenge. You can imagine, how difficult it was. But we learned a lot from COVID situation. We learned it was a great experience for us. Some of them we are seeing today. I'm sure before COVID, we wouldn't have imagined, that we have this hybrid presentation, where we are able to do things in real time. We learned how to do things more efficiently. We discovered, some capacities that we didn't know we had. Things like remote supervision, virtual meetings. They came the order of the day. But above all, we also learned, some other things, about our own, human, how we relate, the human side of things. We learned to do things right without close supervision. We learn to be innovative in different ways, to take initiatives. We learn to trust our own instincts, and we learn to do things, the right way, without, somebody watching over us. So we have learned, quite a bit through this difficult situation. A few months inside the COVID period, one of our member states, one of the 3 countries implementing the project, also faced quite some challenges with internal conflicts, which also affected some areas where the project was being implemented. And, travel, there were increased travel bans. We thought we were getting out of COVID bans, but then again, we were back to it. Perhaps at that time, we're now more prepared because we had already learned, some, we already got some experience from COVID on how to be able to work. So in a way, we are able to be much better through those difficult circumstances. But we are also aware that climate change did not, fear COVID. It actually increased. We have seen, more frequent, more extreme cases of, long droughts, heavy floods, high temperatures, unpredictable rainfall patterns, among other things. In some areas, some of the countries where we work, we had experience with very heavy locust invasions, which are as a result of, the changing climate. These extreme events arising from climate change really have had an impact on livelihoods and to food systems, and particularly aquatic systems, which rely heavily on water. So as a result, we are quite aware that hunger, poverty, internal displacements, all relating to climate change, have actually worsened, and they'll keep worsening. And so, as a result, we see that this project, ACliSAT, has actually become more relevant. We now see the relevance to the needs of the people that were targeted to benefit from it. At the completion of the design of this project, Ahmed already mentioned it, the project actually was awarded by IFAD. It got an award for good practices in grand design and innovations. So it was actually awarded that at the design, it was actually quite a good project within IFAD standards. And I'm pleased that ACliSAT has actually not disappointed at the implementation stage. And I'm sure there are good results to bear that fact that I believe we are going to hear today. From our side, we normally conduct annual performance evaluation of all grants and all projects of IFAD. We have a very elaborate criteria that we use to see how the project is performing by itself, and also comparing it with other IFAD projects. There are several, parameters that we normally assess, and we have seen, that this project actually has progressively performed quite well in several of the criteria, including, for instance, in quality and timeliness of financial and technical reporting, its relevance to rural smallholders, in terms of the way it has addressed gender and youth focus, obviously also on its environmental and climate focus, it's the way it has addressed nutrition, and also in terms of innovation, knowledge management, and communication, and more strongly again in terms of linkages and partnerships. So it has really, the project has really performed in most of quite well in actually in almost all the areas that we normally use to evaluate and monitor project performance. In some areas, we certainly could have done much more. We could have done better. One of the areas which I think probably we didn't do much is in terms of linking the project to the larger IFAD programs, which have more resources and which could help in scaling up some of the results and the benefits of the project. We are also aware that the project's impact may not be equally felt in all the 3 countries. We know that some countries probably are seeing better results and better impacts, while at least one, we don't think, we think that actually we could have done much better. In conclusion, we are pleased that the grant has effectively used the resources that IFAD provided, turning them into good results. At project completion, our projection is that the project will have disbursed over 90% of the budget. We'll hear that, but I believe we are tending in that direction. We believe, that the project has produced good knowledge products, which I believe will also be highlighted today. I don't want to talk a bit about them. The project has also actively participated in high-level global events. Maybe that will also be informed about. For instance, I remember last year in COP26, we had a very successful COP26 side event sponsored by this grant. There are also new partnerships fostered for development of aquaculture in all the 3 countries. We already hear in at least 2 of the countries, and possibly in the 3rd country also, that there's a lot of interest as a result of this grant to be able to develop much larger programs. And of course, we know, that the grant has really improved the knowledge, technologies, and innovations. So, ladies and gentlemen, ACliSAT will be completed in 10 days. That's the end of the month. Normally, after those 10 days, we have a period of 6 months before we totally close the project. So the project closure will come at the end of December. So in between completion and December, we don't start new activities, but we are able to settle, if there are, for instance, work that has been done and not financially settled. So this is the period to do that and close the books. We have those 6 months. Of course, all the parties, starting from IFAD, WorldFish, Bardar University, MMR, and the Central Laboratory for Aquaculture and Research, we have invested a lot of resources, both in terms of money, but also in terms of our own, our own efforts, our own energy and human resources to this particular endeavor. This particular investment, from all these partners really will be only worthwhile if the impact of this project can extend beyond much longer than the completion and closure date. So we should endeavor to build on the capacities that we have established, the partnership that we have developed, the networks, to ensure that we are able to take the lessons, the results out of this into much broader scope, to ensure that more and more people can actually benefit from this, what we call the seed money put into this particular project. So let me thank all the parties that I've mentioned. I believe we'll have a chance again to talk about this, but let me thank you for the support that we have had to ensure that we are actually coming to the completion of quite a successful project. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Richard, the Senior Global Technical Specialist, Fisheries and Aquaculture at IFAD, Intervention Objectives. To be honest, I fully agree with Dr. Richard. It's great to see all the components of gender nutrition, climate smart, and innovations are combined together in one project. Now I will handle the talk over to Professor Salah Maselhi, Chair of Lakes and Fish Resources Protection and Development Agency, to present us Dr. Rifat? Okay. Sorry for this. We will hand the talk over to Dr. Rifat Al-Gamal, Director of the Center Laboratory for Aquaculture Research.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellency, Professor Dr. Salah Masalhi Ali, Board Chair of Lakes and the Fish Resource Production and Development Agency. Your Excellency Rishad Abila, Senior Global Technical Specialist, Fisheries and Aquaculture Sustainable Production, Market and Institution Division, IFAD Intervention Objectives. My colleagues, Professor Dr. Ahmad Nasrallah, Country Director of WorldFish Egypt, digital delegate and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of His Excellency Mr. Said Al-Qusir, Ministry of Agriculture and Land Recommendation, let us be thanks IFAD and WorldFish for organizing this workshop and to convey the best wishes from His Excellency the Ministry and Dr. Suleiman, ARC Director. His wishes of having a successful and fruitful deliberation. I would like to take this opportunity to assure all of you that Egypt will provide all what we can to support the development process of the aquaculture. There are many lessons to be learned from Egyptian experience in the field of aquaculture development. The Egyptian aquaculture industry provides a very important source of animal protein for Egyptian people. Farming of tilapia and the other species has now grown to production over 1.6 million tons a year. The government of Egypt considers aquaculture a priority of food producing sector, and also the Egyptian fish farmers are behind a remarkable blue revolution that has seen aquaculture production raise to this unprecedented level, around 4 times the amount produced a decade ago. As nearly all the fish is sold locally, this has resulted in the supply raising from around 15 kilogram to over 20 kilogram per person per year. A remarkable achievement when per capita fish supplies are declining across the rest of the African continent and Egypt. Farm-raised fish is now the cheapest animal source food and provide a valuable source of protein and micronutrient for Egypt, 100 million people. The rapid growth of Egyptian aquaculture is based on content made in early 1918, when large area of land were set aside for development of fish pond. Here, personnel were trained in the best educational institutions around the world. Lakes and Fish Resources Production and Development Agency was established, and hatcheries and feed mills were set up. There are now around 120,000 hectares of aquaculture pond. Opposite this bright picture, there are many concerns and challenges out there to ensure the sustainability of this successful aquaculture sector, including water availability, environmental condition, and the climate change and the risk of the disease. The ability to develop the early warning system and the farmer-friendly management package and establish capacity to detect disease at the breed nuclei, multiplication centers, hatcheries, and on farm by smallholder fish farmers. And building on the knowledge gained for work done in the project, we and our research partners will progressively achieve the project objectives towards advanced climate smart aquaculture technology ACliSAT. I am sure that with this gathering of scholars and specialists, this project outcome will deliver to be core of this issue and the problem. I concluded with wishing you a very successful deliberation and tangible and realistic outcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Rafat, and thanks to Clar, our partner. I already introduced Professor Salah Masalhi, but it's also good to introduce him again. Professor Salah Maselhi is the chair of Lakes and Fish Resources Protection and Development Agency, known for short as LFPRD A.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Richard Apela, Senior Global Technical Specialist for Fisheries and Aquaculture at IFAD. Dr. Ahmed Nasrallah, the Country Director of WorldFish. Dr. Rifat El-Gamal, Director of CLAR. Dear ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I would like to welcome you in this important meeting. And in this event, I would like to share the remarkable result achieved through the groundbreaking project, Advancing Climate Smart Aquaculture Technologies, or ACliSAT. This ambitious endeavor, driven by collective effort of scientists, researchers, industry experts, and policymakers, aimed to revitalize the aquaculture sector and address the pressing challenges posed by the climate change. Today, I have the privilege to presenting the outcome of this transformative project that have made by the way of sustainable and resilient aquaculture practices. ACliSAT was conceptualized with the recognition that aquaculture play a pivotal role in meeting the growing global demand of seafood, while also facing a significant environmental, social, and economic challenges. The project sought to develop innovative technologies and strategies to mitigate the adverse impact of climate change on aquaculture operation, enhance productivity, and ensure the long-term viability of this vital industry. Over the course of the several years, ACliSAT researchers embarked on an arduous journey exploring and harnessing the potential of cutting-edge technologies through extensive experimentation and collaboration. They successfully developed and implemented a range of climate-smart aquaculture technologies that yielded a remarkable outcome. One of the most notable achievements of ACliSAT is the development of advanced monitoring and predictive modeling system that enable real-time monitoring of water quality parameter, environmental condition, and fish behavior. By harnessing this wealth data, the farmers can be informed decision regarding feed management, disease prevention, and overall farm operation. This breakthrough technology has not only improved productivity, resource efficiency, but also minimized the environmental footprint on aquaculture activities. Furthermore, ACliSAT focus on the development of innovative feed formulation, which play a pivotal role in sustainable aquaculture. Extensive research was conducted to identify the alternative feed ingredient that reduce reliance on the fish meal and fish oil, thus mitigating the pressure of wild fish stock. By incorporating novel ingredients derived from sustainable source, such as algae and insect. In addition to that, in addition to technological advancement, ACliSAT also prioritized capacity building and knowledge transfer. By collaborating with the local commitments, small-scale farmer and industry stakeholders, the project has facilitated the dissemination of the best practice and the adoption of climate-smart aquaculture technologies across the region. Training programs, workshop, and knowledge-sharing platform have empowered individuals to impart sustainable aquaculture practices, fostering social and economic development while also protecting the environment. As we moved forward, it is crucial that we have built upon the succession of ACliSAT and continue investing in research, innovation, and collaboration. The lesson learned from this project should guide our future endeavor to further enhance the resilience, efficiency, and the sustainability of aquaculture sector. Let us seize this moment to acknowledge the dedication and expertise of all those who involved in ACliSAT project. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot to our delegates for the opening remarks. It's now great to hear about the ACliSAT interventions, the outcomes and outputs we have all put together in cooperation with our partner. We will have now a PowerPoint presentation for that, and we will be joined virtually by our partners who are going also to address the challenges and lessons learned. Therefore, I invite my colleague Ahmed Ashraf research assistant at WorldFish Egypt office to lead the session. Virtually, we will have from Ethiopia, Dr. Minwalet Mangist, a professor at Bahir Dar University, and he has been the coordinator of the project from Ethiopia. From Eritrea, we will have Dr. Adonai Hori, the employee at the Ministry of Marine Resources, our coordinator for the project from Eritrea. And from Egypt, we will have our partner Klar, who will be participating at the PowerPoint presentation as well.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmed Ashraf. I am a research assistant at WorldFish, and I've been part of this project, ACliSAT project, since it started in 2018. This presentation will be presented by all parties, all partners, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. And we hope this presentation will be as brief and as clear as possible for our audience here and our virtual audience. First, a background, project background. As Dr. Richard has said, this project has started in 2019. It was supposed to end in 2022, but it has an extension period of 1 year to end at June 2023. This project is managed by WorldFish Egypt office, and as you can see from the map, our partners in Eritrea and in Ethiopia. We have 3 partners. The one in Egypt is the Central Laboratory of Aquaculture Research. In Ethiopia, we have Bahir Dar University. And in Eritrea, we have the Ministry of Marine Resources. The project goal, the main goal of this project is to develop an economically vibrant and climate smart sustainable aquaculture systems, targeting smallholders and rural fish farmers. The main objectives of this project are four components: is the adoption of water use efficient and cost-effective systems. So any system that either can reduce the amount of resources we use, especially water, or increase the productivity of said water. The second point is fish feed. It has different meanings. So in Egypt, we are looking for produce fish feed with local ingredients or local formulas that will reduce the cost of fish feed. In other countries, such as Eritrea and Ethiopia, the introduction of fish feed as a concept is new in many areas there. So each has his own objectives, let's say. The third component is to enhance knowledge and skills, which mainly means to transfer knowledge from the 3 countries between one another, or from Egypt to, say, to Eritrea and Ethiopia. The final point is enhanced nutrition impact for targeted households. We will go through the project overview as a whole, then each partner will present his own achievement, but this one will hopefully will cover all our achievements. First, we will divide our achievement based on our components. So the 3 components of this project, which in turn is divided into other subcomponents, but we'll start with this one. Component 1 is optimizing and piloting of climate smart arid land aquaculture technologies and systems. The second component is capacity building and upscaling of enterprises and other companies. The third component is project management, knowledge sharing, and scaling up. The first component is divided into 3 subcomponents: testing of water efficient culture system, and testing and utilization of genetically improved seed. And the third one is formulation of quality fish feed through locally available feed material. The first component, which is the testing of a water efficient culture system, so far, there are many demonstration units that WorldFish in cooperation with the LFR, PDA, and USIC has developed over the years. For example, we developed 18 inborn production systems in 3 governorates. We conducted in cooperation with CLAR a biofloc experiment in Abasa facility, at WorldFish Abasa facility. There are multiple systems of fish cages in Eritrea that were established in their many lakes. There is an integrated fish farming unit in Ethiopia. All these demonstration units are around 19 demonstration units, visited by 3,136 people. And also, we didn't stop at letting just people come in. We went to these people, we provided them with technical support, especially the project beneficiaries. And we supported any system that can enhance or increase the productivity of water, especially IAA system or integrated agriculture aquaculture system, and IBR system, which is an inbound raceway systems. The second, this is some picture of what we did. As you can see on the top left, this is an IBRS construction unit that is being established, that has been established. The second one is a biofloc trial in cooperation with CLAR in Abbasa. The third one is an integrated agriculture aquaculture farm in Egypt, in El Moghra region or El Moghra Desert near Alexandria in Lower Egypt. The one below is one of the cache systems established in Eritrea. The one in the middle, bottom is an IAA farm. They are taking this is a partial harvest or a sampling. The one on the final one is also in Ethiopia. It's a fish sample that is being taken from one of the integrated farms. The second component is fish seed or fry, or which the fish fry is the source or one of the main components of any fish farm. During the project lifespan, we established 2 units in multiple locations of low-cost hatcheries. These hatcheries are HABA-based, simple to establish and very easy to manage. We established these units, one in Egypt, and when our partners from Eritrea came visited, they established similar one in Eritrea after they were provided with habas and nets and so on and so on. WorldFish has delivered over 158,000 improved strain. We actually expect to deliver even more by tomorrow. So these numbers are expected to be updated. CLAR has provided support to over 120 hatcheries by either training or technical support. BDU has over the years identified hatcheries for fish farms and fish production units to buy from or to increase their to improve their management so others can buy from them and start fish farming through them. We also managed to introduce the mono 6-9 tilapia in Ethiopia and Eritrea, and we supply them with the material needed during their training in Egypt. These are some of the pictures that you can see from the top left is a HABA hatchery in Eritrea. The second one is also a HABA hatchery. As you can see, the blue nets is the HABA. It is very easy to operate and very easy to collect the fry from, and you can use this fry in your fish farms. So the one on the top right is a seed dissemination by our partners in BDU in Ethiopia. The one below are fish farmers here in Egypt. All of these are hatcheries that receive the improved strain from WorldFish facility in Abbas in Egypt. The final point in the first component is about fish feed. So our main goal here is to reduce the cost of fish feed. The fish feed is considered the most expensive component in any fish farm, usually takes 80% of the cost, from 70 to 80% of the cost. So by supporting fish feed producers to adopt local material and reduce the cost of this fish feed, we can reduce the cost of fish in return, so people can be able to buy the fish and in turn they can, let's say, consume more fish. So during the project, we supported 39 feed producers. Around 330 farmers adopted low-cost cottage feed in their farms. We also managed to buy from Thailand a grinder, feed ingredient grinder and pellet making machine, and we actually send them to Ethiopia and Eritrea. So Ethiopia have our partners in Ethiopia have around 5 feed production units, and our partners in Eritrea have 6 feed formulation production units. And this will allow them to produce their own feed and support farmers more directly. These are some of the these are some of our achievements. You can see from the top, the two pictures on the left. This is a fish feed trial in one of the labs in Eritrea. The one in the middle, or all of the four pictures on the right, they are the billet meal making machine. The one below is the ingredient grinder. There is fish feed for the one on the top right. This is our partners in Ethiopia supporting fish farms with fish feed to test this fish feed. And the one below is some ingredients they made during a workshop over there. The second component is capacity building. It started in February. There is a lot of course visits and trainings and so on, but we will start with the senior delegation visit from MMR. In February 2022, a delegation from Eritrea managed to visit Egypt, which was quite an achievement after the COVID-19 outbreak. This was an exploratory and linking visit, and from this visit, a lot was planned and a lot was achieved. So we managed to conduct trainings after that. We managed to improve our procurement policies to send anything they needed. And they actually, from their visit, they established the first fish cage system in Eritrea. There is also a fish feed formation workshop. This workshop was meant to bring all the project partners together in Ethiopia at Bahir Dar University. We managed to bring the MMR team managed to visit Egypt, but our team couldn't go there for visa-related issues. You can see from the pictures below, the two pictures are from our partners in Eritrea. This is the fish cages in Rayyan Lake. And the one below, the second one is an integrated aquaculture farm near Ismailia. The last two pictures are the workshop conducted in Bahir Dar University with the team from MMR visiting their sites. This is a list of trainings, the list of TOT trainings. In total, there were 59 participants from Egypt and Ethiopia and Eritrea who stayed in Abbas for 57 days for trainings. We can divide them into two groups. So two trainings, two TOT trainings received aquaculture training. The other group received post-harvest and value addition training. There is also an aquaponics TOT training, as well as the workshop, the fish feed formation workshop conducted in Ethiopia. These are the pictures. Each one of those is a training. The one on the top left is a team from BDU visiting Abbas and Hatchery. The one below is the team, another team from Ethiopia getting a post-harvest training. The other two, the one on the middle is the Eritrean partners. The one above, they are receiving a breeding training. The one below is all-female training, all-female TOT training from our partners in Eritrea receiving post-harvest training. The final one are trainings for Egyptians here in Egypt. As you can also see, all females TOT training about post-harvest and processing. The third and final component of this project is about project management and knowledge sharing and scaling up. It started with we will talk about all the workshops, most of the workshops that were conducted during the project lifespan. So the first project is the Inception workshop conducted in 2019. They're followed by 2 online webinars. These 2 webinars, one conducted in January 2022, the second one in December 2022, with over 250 virtual attendance. There was a side event at COP27 titled Transforming Climate Resilient Aquatic Food Systems for Sharing Prosperity. It was attended by over 120 people. There was also the IFAD project review mission in Egypt, where they met the project beneficiaries and assessed the project achievement. The final one is WorldFish contribution to our partners in Eritrea. So WorldFish team, a staff from Egypt here managed to visit Eritrea this year, actually, during the beginning of this year. to support our partners there, followed by a visit from one of our scientists who joined the IFAD mission there to support them as well. This is a list of project training. As you can see, it starts with the inception workshop, and they are arranged by date. So that we started with the inception workshop, then followed by our team supporting the FREM project over there. There is a Eritrean exploratory visit. There are some workshops that we contributed that contributed to ACliSAT project. Anything that is related to aquaculture in the integrated systems, or anything about smart systems that can help or improve the productivity of farmers. These are some of the pictures. On the top left is COP27 side event. There is also the field day event. The field day event, we brought farmers from all over Lower Egypt. This field event had a harvest from our IBRS unit, as well. Also, we had the harvest of our bioflux system. The one below is one of our webinars events conducted in Abbasa. The one below on the bottom, in the mid bottom, is our mission in Eritrea. And the one at the end is also one of the field day event pictures. We had some of publications. The first one is the best management practices for commercial tilapia production in Northeast Africa, with participation from our team in Eritrea. The one is integrated agriculture system suited for aquaculture in the desert. And the third one is good practices for preparing and cooking farmed fish, which are recipes for on how to cook the fish or how to prepare the fish in various and very good ways. We will enter, after this, we will go with our partners' presentations. We will start with our partner in Eritrea. Are you with us, Mr. Adonai?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, IFAD colleagues. Good morning, WorldFish colleagues and other delegates. My name is Adonai Hrui. I'm the acting project coordinator for this project, the Advancing ACliSAT project. And of course, in the ministry, I'm also the head of the Projects and Commissions Coordination Office. So this presentation will be on the achievements of ACliSAT in Eritrea. Just to give you the background, the ACliSAT project for Eritrea was really a golden opportunity, because in Eritrea right now we don't have actually a project for any farm for aquaculture. So this has enabled us to start in the right direction. So I will proceed with my presentation. Next slide. Okay. So as introduction, the ACliSAT Eritrea destination, the specific objectives are the following 5 points. One is the introduction of HAPA-based tilapia hatchery system. This is the first introduction, which we have never been experiencing before. And also, second is the introduction of cage and integrated aquaculture agriculture system for tilapia grow-out production systems. The third is the development of least cost feed formula from the locally available ingredients. The fourth is the development of value-added fish products. Of course, the fifth one is the enhancement of national technicians' knowledge and skills on aquaculture technology. So these are the 5 key objectives that are overseen in these projects. Next slide. Okay, when we come to achievements during this period, regardless of the challenges that we faced, the delay in startup and the and the subsequent COVID problem. So MMR undertook now the following activities, such as the objectives for the project. I have divided into two. One is the workshops, which enable us to have an opportunity with other stakeholders to discuss and design the strategy, how to do all the activities. So 3 workshops were done, on value addition, the HAPA, basic hatchery, and the feed formulation. And the second part is the other 4 key activities that were planned. 3 were achieved. One is the introduction of HAPA basic hatchery system, and the second one is the locally produced feed, and the third one is introduction of the arid tilapia and carp products. So if we go to in each activity, next slide. Okay, when we come to the HAPA basic hatchery, you can see on the right side, initially the conventional type of HAPA system was established in one of the dams, which is called the Eritrea Dam, and later was switched to a floating type, which the MMR team tried to manage it. So based on that, the experience that was obtained is that through the technical assistance given by WorldFish and upon the trainings obtained in Egypt, the technicians were able to produce on average 470 eggs per female, and those mouse breeding was from 4 days, and the output was 12.5 fries per minute per mouse. So this was the first experience and really encouraging results. So in 2024, this will be disseminated to 4 zobas so that they will have their own HAPA systems. So this is one of the achievements of the project. Next slide. Okay, and the feed formulation, 2 types of feed were formulated. Here it's called feed 1 and feed 2. The first one was based on fish meal. That was which during all the activities that we are feeding to the fish. But later on, an experiment was done to see if the duck meat can replace part of the fish meal, so that to see the effective replacement of the fish meal. So this unit has also given the MMR technicians to disseminate the knowledge that was acquired in all the zobas, each zoba meals. Next slide, please. Okay. When we say to the value addition, a team was organized from the different zobas of the MMR and from the cooperatives, so that they will have hands-on experience how to process in the context of Eritrea with the available materials that they can be obtained in Eritrea. So they managed to produce 2 products, fish powder from tilapia and carp, and they were tested for their bacteriological requirements and were safe. But for the shelf-life determination, it needs further more time that couldn't be determined, but it's still going on, it's continuing through the front project. So it was really successful in demonstrating the cooperatives in the 2 dams. Over to next slide. Okay, with regard to the capacity development, initially, because we were have strict constraints in the movement because of the COVID, So what WorldFish has granted as an opportunity to train the MMR staff. So 53 MMR staff were virtually trained in 7 topics of the aquaculture by WorldFish experts. But then later on, physical training was given. That's 5 MMR staff on Papa-based hatchery and fish formation. They were trained in Abasa hatchery. Again, another 5 MMR staff were trained on fish processing and value action techniques. The same place in Abasa hatchery. Okay, on the disbursement side, the allocated budget for MMR to disperse was 91,593 USD, but the actual dispersed amount is 48,348,000 estimate. This is just because of due to the COVID-19 consent and the unavailability of materials in the local market that delayed the disbursement. And for the equipment, MMR was equipped now with the following items. Nets for HAPA and cage installations, water quality testers, materials for construction of movable ponds, feed manufacturing equipment, and others. Some of them have already arrived and have utilized them in our activities, but some of them are on their way to Eritrea, and once we have them, and then we'll continue our demonstrations with the support of the project. Okay, next slide. So these are the pictures that you can see, the fry production and how they were doing the egg, checking eggs from the mouse brooders. And on the bottom left, you can see working in the collection of the fries, and bottom right, when they were constructing the floating papas. So these are one of the activities that have been done in Eritrea through the ACliSAT project. So thank you so much. Over to you.
Our next presentation will be the Center Laboratory for Aquaculture Research, Dr. Mohammed Zahabi.
Good morning. I'm Mohammed Zahabi, researcher in CLAR and one of the team of CLAR. CLAR activities in ACliSAT optimize and piloting of climate smart arid land and brackish water aquaculture technology and system. Testing and utilization of genetically improved seed, formulation of quality fish feed through locally available feed ingredients, capacity building and upscaling of an institution, and support for developing global market and value chain. Technical support team done a visit according to plan in a topic bond design and construction, management of water bond, genetically improved seed, formulation of quality fish feed, and biosecurity and post-harvest management. Design training program for farmer in fish farmer and scientist, fish feed company, and owner of fish hatchery. Number of trainees 210, number of trainees 18, number of training day 14. There's a 2 flyer or publication. First one in non-traditional feed alternative for manufacture of fish dye, and second one in night tilapia hatching. Output indicator 600 fish farm adapt efficiency water system, 120 hatches using genetically improved seed, 220 farmer using low-cost feed, and raise awareness for fish feed producer through feed for fish feed training model, innovation in and of fish producer processing and packaging for startup, young graduate or student gain a hand-on experience in feed hatchery, and training 590 farmer or younger graduated on BMB, 300 farmer on using low-cost fish feed formula, 120 hatchery operation. Project impact on aquaculture sector. Fish farmer fish farms are concentrated in Kafr Sheikh and Al Bahira and Sharqiya Governor. Most of the fish pond area from 5 to 7 faddam. Total area of 300 faddam. Activities focus on quality of producer and fish feed, and awareness of farmer and farmer response was increased. There's an important criteria for project evaluation. More than 30% increase in fish production for project area unit, especially in farm using IBRS system and improved tilapia seed. Hatchery use improved tilapia confirmed they became produce a healthy fry for fish farm and increased trust between hatchery and the fish farm. Besides, size of the seed cells was increased. The project team advised farmer for using alternative feed and other source for feeding because price of feed. Fish farmer have more awareness and experience and a good mentality for a new technology and technique. Besides above, income from fish farm and fish hatchery will increase as a result and production increase. Through ACliSAT project, we had a big chance to expand cooperation between Pilar and fish farm and the hatchery through the group discussion and technical support. The data collection and area farm from output indicator for cloud. Number of people they attended technology demonstration season, 600 farm in testing water efficiency culture system, 220 farm and 35 feed manufacturing in formulation of quality fish feed, 120 hatchery in testing utilizing genetically improved seed, number of people trained in culture system, 590 farm, 300 farmers in feed formulation, 120 hatchery in hatchery training, and 8 virtual meetings and 2 policy brief in non-traditional feed and tilapia hatchery. And thanks for project team from Kalaf. Thank you.
The next presentation is from our partners in Bahr Dar University in Ethiopia. Dr. Manuelet, are you there?
Yes. Okay. So thank you very much. Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a great pleasure to present our activities under the ACliSAT project. And I'm very much happy to present our work in front of this people who are really in management and the like. So to begin with, I think my name is Manuelet Mengist. I'm working at Bahr Dar University, Northern Ethiopia, serving the university more than 15 years in doing research, teaching, and community service activities. And Bahr Dar University this days is celebrating 16th anniversary, and let's maybe congratulate it. And next slide, please. Yeah, my presentation focuses on this outline achievements on those project components mentioned before, impacts that we try to bring, knowledge products, something about lesson learned, and plans in the future. Next slide, please. Well, we started with the inception workshop. It was a very good inception workshop that really lets us to keep in touch with all partner institutions, and we will be able to know their interests and gaps so that we can access the fishers, the stakeholders, and the like. So that was the initial point to start maybe our activities. Next slide, please. Now I will be talking about these project achievements in each and every what we call project component. The first project component was about optimization, piloting of the climate smart aquaculture technologies. So we have these 4 achievements, and what you can see in here in numbers, what is in bracket is a target, what's outside is the achievement. So with one the top, we are be able to the target, it was 150 fish farmers. So we are be able to test water efficient culture systems on 100 fish farmers through this monitoring, checking water quality, using this integration, and in all those follow-ups. And what you can see in the photo is an integrated system of fish versus poultry. And what you see, the other one is out of the 100 target, we are be able to demonstrate low-cost feed production using 121 fish farmers. And this is what has been presented even before mentioned. So you can see how we have undertaken these activities. And the other two achievements, we are expected to work on hatcheries, small and medium enterprises. Of course, our setup is far below low. So I think we'll be able to reach these hatcheries, usually government owned, and we're able to communicate with them to use selective breeders to formulate their own feed, because feed is very expensive. And you can see the achievements, little one, and a lot remains on this regard. In different setup, I think we will be able to train recently established fish farmers who are producing fingerlings. So we trained them on low-cost feed production. It was very good training, and we also be able to buy all male Nile tilapia for better production, and we will also be able to restock a depleted newly built reservoir with 4,000 Nile tilapia. That was the achievement from project component 1. Next slide, please. So the second one is all about capacity building and upscaling. So the farmer side, so the target was 150. We'll be able to train 118 on best management practice. That's what you can see. There's a small photo, the right, and fish farmers. I think we will be able to let 60 fish farmers use low-cost fish feed, especially mixing locally available materials, as you can see. And the other very important thing is we will be able to train 32 experts from extension, from the research on fish feed formulation, and you can see. And there's a very important thing that we had capacity building from WorldFish Egypt, and 8 staff from BDU and 4 staff from stakeholders. And we're very much lucky to have this quality training, and we have seen the hospitality of Egyptians, and we're really very happy about it with this support. Thank you very much, what I can say. Next slide, please. And with project management, knowledge sharing, I think we planned to have 3 innovation platforms. We managed to achieve 2. And there was, in addition, there was a plan to have at least 3 policy briefs. We managed to do that one, what you can see here. And with banners, promotions, the like, I think we'll be able to have at least these 3 occasions, and having banners, try to promote. Even we will be able to promote our activities through mass media, at least into occasions. And then I think we'll be able to, reach, support local curriculum development. It may not be, of course, a lot remains, and we will translate the best management practice for tilapia hatcheries that was prepared in Egypt. Next slide, please. So just to say something about impact and expected impacts. So throughout our project period, so we managed to bring efficient and better water quality use and management through the irrigation systems, frequent monitoring that we undertaken. And through technical support, we were able to improve the management of these small-scale fish farms, especially with condos. And yeah, just we are able to increase fish production 50% and consumption 20% because of the improved resource use and access. So I think, and I think the slide is not visible. Can you make it? Can you minimize it? So I think in addition, we could be able to increase the income through our involvement through production, through sale. Next slide, please. Yeah, we were able to provide 50 quintals of pelleted and 20 quintals of local available food for feed for the local fish farmers and benefiting more than 100 households. And opportunities were there to involve women and youth. And then we can increase the use of locally available materials. And we have actually strengthened capacity building as a result of the training in Egypt and in Ethiopia. Next slide, please. So the knowledge products, I think I mentioned before, we translated the best management practice for Nile tilapia hatcheries in Egypt into local language, Amharic. And we had these three policy briefs prepared and ready for use. Next slide, please. And lesson learned, I think throughout our project, I think what we felt, the aquaculture is expanding. A lot of maybe farmers are involving, even though it's small scale. It's not really business oriented like Egypt. So because there are a lot of constraints, finance, piloting, and less integration between actors is the thing that we felt it. And during our trainings and contacts with these fish farmers, I think they need strong support to stay, especially technical and input supporters. Next slide, please. And already the COVID issues and unique problem in Ethiopia, instability and security problems didn't allow us to do some activities, even to invite maybe our partners, Egyptians. And there was a problem of this, I think, getting past immigration problems. Of course, we managed to undertake most of activities, and virtual meetings helped us a lot in this regard. And what we'd like to appreciate is the established partnership structure in this ACliSAT is a good model for technology transfer, knowledge sharing in Africa, so that I think the issue of improved food, nutrition, security, consumer health could be ensured. That is a model and an eye-opening thing that we felt it. And then the consistent and strong support and flexibility that we got from WorldFish, IFAD really helped us to do our activities in a better way. Next slide, please. Well, plans, as I mentioned before, there is a lot of work ahead, especially with this working with these small-scale farmers, the technical support they needed, training, and during our training, they just asked us to visit them frequently because there are a lot of challenges with the production, with the management, and all over the country. So much effort is needed, and that's that we have to do it. More projects has to be there. And the other thing is scaling sustainability is very important. In our side, we are trying to develop one community service project, which is an extension of the experience of ACliSAT, and we'll be working under this community service project in the years to come. Next slide. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Back to you if you have any comments, questions. I think I'm available. Thank you.
So thank you all for our partners who presented all their presentations. This is our indicators plan or indicators about the project target and the data we procured. This is from all three partners. We expect the data to be updated. So the number of I don't know if you can see clear. Yes. So number of demonstration sites established was 19 from all three countries. These sites are integrated aquaculture systems, IBRS units, or in-bond raceway aquaculture system. There is also hatchery-based systems, fish feed production units, and we expect by the end of this month we will have an aquaponics unit. The number of technologies demonstrated are 10. These technologies are all aligned with the project goals, which is about fish feed, fish seed, or about water efficient culture system. The number of people attended these demonstration sites and units, which come from trainings, events, and casual visitors, are around 3,136 people. The people who were trained on best management practices are 48 people. The people who are trained on best harvest and handling and processing practices are 39. The number of retailers, who were mostly women, are about 486 women. These women are trained through our trainers who we trained in our facility. The number of people who received aquaculture training are 2,469 people. The number of farms or farmers who adopted efficient water system are 797 people. The number of hatcheries who benefited from technical support and training are 155. The number of producers who adopted local material are 39. The number of farmers who adopted low-cost cottage feed are 390. The number of organizations that received capacity building are 32. The number of training material developed are 6. The number of innovation platforms are 16. The policy briefs from all three partners are 6. The number of applications are 9. This slide was mentioned earlier by Dr. Richard. This is the ACliSAT project receiving the Best Grant Award for practice and design. And finally, these are questions for our project.
As we recall from reviewing our agenda for today, we will now have a look at the beneficiaries' perspective who have benefited from the ACliSAT project. We will have a close look through the testimonials that was previously recorded for our beneficiaries who are in the room today on how the project impacted on their lives, income, and their families as well.
Morning. My name is Walid Hashim. I'm the CEO of ACliSAT Developments LLC based in Cairo.
دكتور تامر بصويسي طبيب بيطري المؤسس والمدير التنفيذي لشركة ابن النفيس.
أشكر صناعة الستار الكريم رئيس مجلس متفرغ معهد بحوث الصحة الحيوانية وخبير الاستزراع السمكي والأراضي الصحراوية بالنظام التكاملي.
أنا محمد السعيد من ضمن السيادات المستفيدات في مشروع الأكليسات.
اسمي حسن علي عبد الرحمن من الفيوم مزارع صاحب مزرعة سمكية في الفيوم.
Actually, I'm here at the WorldFish Center. I have been invited to attend a progressive ACliSAT program, training program on the aquaponics systems and hydroponics system, which is a new field for myself. To be a leader in to lead the way to the new era of modern technologies of aquaculture, agriculture together.
في نهاية 2020 وبداية 2021 كان في تعاون مثمر بين الورلدفيش وبين مفرغ ابن النفيس. كان من ثمار هذا التعاون من خلال برنامج الأكليسات عمل دورات تدريبية، وكان من خلال الدورات التدريبية دي تم التعرف على أنظمة صديقة للبيئة بتحافظ على المية زي نظام ال IFAD. أنظمة كان من خلالها كمان كان التعرف على نظام الانتجريتد ما بين الأسماك وما بين النباتات زي نظام الأكوابونيك. كان من خلال الدورات دي كمان تم التعرف على السلالات المحسنة. استخدمنا السلالات المحسنة وكان لها إمباكت قوي في المزارع السمكية. ومن خلال الدورات دي اتعلمنا من أهم الحاجات اللي اتعلمناها الأمان الحيوي. اتعلمنا طرق جديدة لأفضل ممارسات الأمان الحيوي اللي ممكن تطبق في المفارخات. في جزء منها اتعلمناه اللي ممكن يطبق على المزارع السمكية.
توجيهات وتعليمات كتير بتاعت مركز دولي الاسماك. بنلاقي النهارده بقى مدربه للشباب اللي هو الراغبين في العمل تحت مظله الاصطناع السمكي التكاملي والرياضه الصحراويه للنظام التكاملي. هذا الموضوع اللي لازم نوصل لها نخش فيها النهارده اي ارض مستصلحه جديده عشان نعرف قيمه الميه، نعظم قيمه الميه المستخدمه من الأعضاء بتاعتنا. أنا أشغل هذه المية بهذا المنظومة وده الفكر اللي شغال عليه المركز الدولي للأسماك اللي يشتغل عليه، بدأ ياخد مدربين عليه على أساس هو إزاي يستخدم مياه الأعضاء يزرع بيها سمك الأول وياخد مياه السمك يزرع بيها الأرض الصحراوية اللي بتزيد من خصوبة الأرض الصحراوية الفقيرة وتزيد من إنتاج الزراعة.
إني كنت ببيع في السوق تقريبا من حوالي 10 سنين. بعد كده اتعرفت على المشروع ان انا رحت للمركز الدولي للاسماك. المركز كان بيوفر لنا عربيات تجيبنا من المكان وتودينا وترجعنا تاني نفس المكان. رحنا اخذنا تدريبات عمليه وتدريبات نظريه. تدريبات عمليه ازاي ان احنا نتعامل مع السمكه من اول ما نختارها في السوق لحد ما نصنعها، وازاي نتعامل معاها حتى بعد التصنيع حفاظا على الجوده بتاعتها. بعد كده كان في فتره انقطاع للمشروع اللي هي ايام كورونا، بس كان في متابعه تليفونيه عن طريق باشمهندس ابراهيم، كان بيكلمنا تقريبا يومين او 3 ايام في الاسبوع بيطمن مننا ازاي احنا بنبيع وبنبيع قد ايه، وهل نسبه المبيعات زي ما هي او بتقل، وايه السمك اللي بيقل معانا في المبيعات وايه السمك اللي بيزيد، وكمان ايه التحديات والصعوبات اللي بتواجهنا داخل الاسواق وازاي ان احنا نتعامل معاها. استفدت من المشروع التدريبات اللي انا عملتها ازاي، ان انا مثلا في التدريبات العمليه كنت بعمل تصنيع اسماك، فبدأت بقى اعمل برجر، كفته، صوابع سمك، فيليه. ازاي ان انا مثلا حتى الهدر اللي بيطلع من السمكه نفسه ان انا نعمل له عمليه تجفيف ان انا ابيعه كبودره سمك، بمعنى اصح ما عادش عندي هدر خالص وما عادش عندي حاجه بتبوظ عنها.
ان المركز الدولي هنا تبنى موضوع الاستراحه خاصه عندنا في الفيوم، اتعلمنا منه كتير. طبيعي كل اللي اتعلمناه منه بجد يعني حقيقي افادنا كتير قوي. طبقنا، نجحنا، وصلنا لمستويات كويسه. والنهارده بيعمل تقنيه جديده اللي هي الاكوابونيك. شايف ان الموضوع جميل جدا، بيحتاج يتعلم، بيحتاج تدريب اكتر، لان هو المستقبل في التقنيه الجديده ديت. انا بصفه خاصه عن نفسي يعني بشكر المركز الدولي وبشكر الجهاد على كل التدريبات الجميله ديت اللي بيعملوها.
شكرا للمشروع وشكرا للمركز الدولي للاسماك والمشروع الاكليسات، واتمنى ان المشروع يكبر اكبر من كده بحيث ان السيدات زي ما انا استفدت افيد غيري وبرضه هم يستفيدوا ونوصل للي احنا عايزينه الحمد لله.
انا بشكر الورلد فيش وبشكر برنامج الاكليسات على التعاون المثمر. خلال الكلمه دي بوجه كلمه للاكليسات ان نتمنى في الفتره الجايه نشوف مور انفستمنت في مجال الانتاج البروتين من مصادر غير تقليديه زي البروتين الحشري، او الاستثمار كمان في مجال البايوفلوك ومحاوله تطبيقه على نطاق واسع.
Kindly, I would like to take this opportunity, the golden opportunity, to ask ACliSAT, the IFAD, the WorldFish, to push for more courses, training courses for the experts, for the training of trainees, to get more knowledge to reach this kind of sustainable development in the sector. It is the most important sector in the world this time.
As Dr. Richard Abila mentioned in his opening remarks, today we will have a look at the financial stages of our project where we can learn about the impact on the sector, So I invite kindly my colleague, Engineer Ibrahim El-Sira, who has been the coordinator of the project, to lead this session.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ibrahim El-Sira. I worked as a research assistant and project management support for this project. From the beginning, I was with Dr. Ahmed and other colleagues at the inception workshop. Till now, we are in the closure workshop. This is the financial statement for the grant we got from IFAD. This is the line items under the project. It explains what the categories we are working in from the financial perspective. As you will see, we have this, the upper one and the lower one. This is for the management fees for WorldFish management fees and for our mother organization CGIR. And the other line items are for support direct expenditure for the project. As you will see, for the consultancy, this is for mainly to support our partners, especially at the beginning and at the end. At the beginning, we use this line item to conduct the baseline reports in both countries, Eritrea and Ethiopia, with the regional consultant. Right now, there is international consultant in Eritrea to conduct evaluation and the opportunities for the future to support our partner in Eritrea, MMR, to put their new strategy for aquaculture in Eritrea. He will expect it to finish his study the next week maximum, and he will submit the report to WorldFish by the end of this month. So we be shared with our funder IFAD and our partner in MMR. The second one is equipment and the materials. This mainly for our partners also. We support MMR and our partner in Bahir Dar University with the equipment, either from Thailand and China or from Egypt. This is mainly the equipment was water quality devices, cages, fish nets, to support the implementation of the demonstration sites and their facility. Also, the operating costs was to support our partner and also for WorldFish here in Egypt for our operating in the center and etc. The goods and services also as the equipment, including fish feeds, fish seeds, and other costs for the three partners. The travel and allowances for the exchange visit and for the training from the two countries to Egypt and from Egypt to the other two countries, and in-country travel for our partners and for our WorldFish. The last one is the training. For the last one, the training. This is to support the training of our partners in our facility, or the training that our partners conduct in the field, or the training that we conduct to our beneficiary here in Egypt. The other one, of course, is the workshops which supported the inception workshops and the expert workshops we are conducting through the project life cycle till the project closure workshop that we are right now. We are expecting by settling the financial commitment by this week or next week maximum to reach expenditure rate by 90%, nearly 90%.
Okay, thanks, Ibrahim. Now it's as we are pressure on time, we'll move to Professor Dr. Salah to hear his highlight about the project and how the project is aligned with the policy of Egypt and reflect even behind to Africa.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. First of all, I would like to appreciate the support of IFAD for implementation of this important project, Advanced Climate Smart Aquaculture Technology, or ACliSAT. Actually, the three components that implemented throughout the period of the study was very important, especially with the climate smart aquaculture technology. The first one, they focused on the fish feed, fish seed, and also the water. The three topics are very critical and very important, I think, not only for Egypt, but also for other African countries. So especially with the climate change and their adverse effect on different productive activities, including the aquaculture and also mariculture, This is very important topics to be concerned and to be covered and to be discussed. Actually, in Egypt, as far as you all know, that we in Egypt in 2021 produce over than 2 million tons of fish. Among those, 20% from fisheries, including the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, the Nile, and 9 lakes. And the major production, over than 80%, is from aquaculture, which exceeded 1,600,000 tons of fish. As you know, over the 90% of our production is freshwater, or 95. And among this 1,600,000 tons, we produce over than 1 million tons only from tilapia. So tilapia is a very, very important species, and the sustainable development of aquaculture is very, very important priority for the Egyptian government and the Egyptian industry in aquaculture. Of course, in the last 30 or 40 years, we have multiplied our productivity, especially from aquaculture and fish farming. As over than 35 years, our production was 80% from fisheries and 20% for aquaculture. Almost 40,000 tons of fish. Right now, we exceeded 2 million. This is indicating the very successful activities of Egyptian in aquaculture. To be fair, over than 99% of this production from the private sector. So we give all respect and all support for the private sectors in the field of aquaculture in Egypt, who succeeded throughout the last 35 years. Of course, this productivity and our status of aquaculture production, or even the total resource production of fish in Egypt, make us leading Africa on aquaculture production. We are #1, and also worldwide we are #6 on aquaculture production. We are #11 in inland aquaculture production. We are also one of the countries included the cage production among the most important 10 countries worldwide. And we also #3 on tilapia production. This make us under pressure and very big challenge to maintain, to sustain, to improve, to maximize, to keep this successful history in the future. Of course, by all this successful history, we're still facing some challenges and some constraints. Based on your previous discussion and presentation, I just drawn some of the challenges and some of the hope, and will mention among the challenge and the hope facing aquaculture in Egypt, the constraint or a challenge, including the environmental constraints. Too many environmental strains are encountered, and over than 100 regulation for selecting a farm for environmental rules and regulation is requested. So we have to be aware about it, and also have constraints with the water resources and water availability. So the new technology is very, very important to minimize water use in aquaculture. And also we have some financial shortage, especially with young farmers and young investors. We are in technical need to minimize the water use, to minimize the land use, to minimize even the feed use, to minimize the costs that used during the investment period of the aquaculture production. And also have some marketing obstacles, and together with the increase in human population, which need much more requirement and more support from aquaculture. Actually, in Egypt, the per capita requirement of the Egyptian per year is almost 20 kilograms of fish a year. 20 kilograms of fish a year. But the international per capita requirement is 20.5. So we are very near to give the Egyptian by the requirement. This is not including the importation. This is only from our national production from aquaculture. So this is very good. We would like to keep it, or even would like to increase it because of the increased population. All these constraints beside with the climate change. Climate change is very important issue, should be studied, should be investigated. We have to collaborate together. We have to see what is the impact, what is the negative impact of climate change in aquaculture. As I told you, over than 95% of our production is freshwater aquaculture. With the climate change, we'll have a change in the temperature, we'll have a change in the water quality, we'll have a change in the salinity of the water, we'll have the challenge with the availability of water, fresh water. We'll have a challenge with the acidity, the more acidity of the water. So our tilapia is under risk. So selecting the fish seed for quality improvement, for selection breeding, for improvement of the strain, for conservation of tilapia is very, very important issue, especially we produce over than 1 million tons of tilapia. So we'd like to work very carefully and very seriously in maintaining the tilapia and conserving the gene of tilapia for sustainable development and maintaining aquaculture in Egypt. Of course, with all these challenges, we have some hope. We are succeeded, yes. We have a very good position worldwide and in Africa, yes, but we'd like to keep it. So we have future need or future hope for the following: for water and land monitoring. As far as you know, we have some problem with water, we have some problem with land. So we'd like to monitor which one is a fit, which one is more credit for aquaculture or even mariculture production. We have also hope for fish resources identification and fish resources reservation. Would like to keep our fish species and would like to work much more on marine fish because the water, the fresh water in the future with the climate change will be diverged to marine water, or salinity would be much more. So we'd like to work on much more species of marine fish for hatching, for culture, for productivity, for value chain. We would also work on marine hatchery. We have maximum 3 or 4 hatchery for marine fish. Would like to work much more for hatchery. Would like to develop much more hatcheries for marine fish because the future will be much little toward the marine production. We would also to support fish cages. We have declared about 21 sites in Mediterranean and Red Sea about fish cages, but still looking for some investment. Would like to work on this because this will not negatively impacted like other farm from the climate change effect. Would like to also to work on implementing fishing legislation and also water border measurement. As far as you know, how many accidents everywhere, would like to make restriction for this. We would like to work on fish feed investment and support. Would like to work on implementing biosecurity in aquaculture and fish farm for fish health measurement, for fish health assessment, and for production of high quality feed that could be competitive with other market. We are not working only for Egyptian market. Would like to work for export. So our production should be of high quality. This will be done upon implementation of biosecurity measures on all series or all steps of aquaculture production. Also, we should keep our sustainable development in aquaculture or freshwater aquaculture because we are very successful in this. We would like to keep it. We would like also to work in value chain through pre and post harvest management. And also this will add value for export and good marketing competitive. All this together with would like also to work on, as you mentioned, on integrated aquaculture production, because this is an important solution for the limitation of water and limitation of land. So I think this is concluded. I appreciate your work throughout this period because you are really touching a very critical issues that very important for maintaining and development of fish resources and aquaculture in Egypt. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Professor Salah Moselhi, for this discussion remarks. It actually highlights and pave our way towards the roundtable discussion in the next part of our workshop. Dr. Ahmed.
Thanks a lot, Professor Salah. Your comments are very well received and taken into consideration. We'll consider this as our future work plan under this, not under this project, in future project and intervention. So this is quite important to keep aquaculture in Egypt at the highest level, in the same time contribute to aquaculture in Africa, as we have regional and continental responsibility. If you allow me, now we are 30 minutes behind time, and I'd like to thank our colleague who participated.
No,
live.
before we thank them, maybe just can jump in here to let them know about something, and then we will leave the thanks remarks. Sorry, Dr. Ahmed. Before we go or disconnect online, Anis, my colleague from WorldFish, will take a virtual screenshot or a virtual photo for you. So I would like to request our virtual guests to open their cameras right now, so Anis can take for all of us a group photo before you disconnect with online. Dr. Ahmed, you can continue with the thanks remark while we are taking the screenshot. Thank you, Anis. For our guests here, we will have another group photo outside, but I think I will leave now Dr. Ahmed to finish with thanks remarks.
Okay, thanks for everyone participated. Dr. Richard, we're going to break, but if you have quick highlight you want to mention now, or keep it to the end. So if you have something quick comments, please go ahead.
Okay, maybe let me just take this chance also to acknowledge some of my colleagues who have been supporting this project. You must have interacted with some of them, starting with Audrey. Audrey, maybe you can introduce yourself. I'm not sure whether Natalia is joined, and Sylvia, if in case you are joined, please prepare. Audrey, please.
Thank you so much, Richard, and the ACliSAT team. I have been really impressed by the results.
Great. Maybe also Dr. Richard will join us at the roundtable discussion. So I suggest over there we can handle to you the talk first, so that you can conclude on the first part of the workshop, and then we can start with the second part. So maybe if you allow me, we can break for 30 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Richard. But I will invite our guests here. هناخد صورة جماعية، هناخد صورتين، صورة عند السلم، تمام، وصورة تانية outdoor، وبعد كده هنطلع للبريك. وهستأذنكم معلش البريك ممكن يكون 20 دقيقة، ممكن تجيبوا عادي البليتس وتكملوا هنا البريك في القاعة بس عشان نقدر ان احنا نرجع. اوكي، هي دلوقتي 12:10، فأتمنى ان احنا نرجع للقاعة 12:30 و5 بالظبط. شكرا ليكم. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to have you back. In the first part of the workshops, we have discussed the project interventions, and we have also explored the impacts on the partners, the sector, the countries, as well as the beneficiaries themselves. I think we have delayed some reflections from Dr. Richard Abila, the senior global technical specialist of fisheries and aquaculture at the IFAD. So maybe we can start with his reflections, and then we can move to the discussion in the room. Over to you, Dr. Richard.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Richard. We can hear you.
Okay, so thank you very much. Yes, in my opening statement, there are certain issues that I highlighted. Which maybe could be interesting to get a more elaborate reflection on. Now, the first issue is in relation to the relevance of this project, especially in relation to the increasing impacts of climate, as I mentioned. This project has come at a time when there is climate change is becoming more and more felt all across the globe, and particularly in the areas where this project was working in, the three countries, Egypt, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. And we have seen this in reality. We have seen increase in extreme events, floods, droughts, temperatures are rising. And again, this is now being reflected right into livelihoods and increase in social conflicts. One of the immediate, I think one of the immediate indicators of this in this particular area, we have seen, for instance, one of the big events, one of the big things that we saw was the locust invasion, which actually relates to the climate situation. So this is one thing that we really need to discuss, how such a project can actually help in building resilience to ensure that our beneficiaries are able to withstand this changing climate situation. It's something that I wish that we can give a bit more attention to get various views on what more really can be done to expand some of the technologies that this project has been able to develop in the last 4 years. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Richard, for these remarks. I think we would like also to hear from our audience today. So I will invite Dr. Ahmed Nasrallah, the country director of WorldFish Egypt office, to lead this session. We have the audience in the room, our stakeholders from CLAR, from the Agriculture Research Center, from the LFR PDA. We have also the ACliSAT consultants. Some of them are here, academians, university professors, representative of the private sector of fish feeding companies. And we have the AU IPAR AW FishNet, that is actually one of our main partners responsible for facilitating the gender component of women retailers. We have also smaller scale farmers and women retailers. So I will give now the lead for this session, which will be last for 60 minutes to Dr. Ahmed Nasrallah. Over to you, Dr.
Ahmed. This discussion, it's better to be free and move. Okay, I'll switch to Arabic to allow more participants to interact with us. يعني حضراتكم الساعة ديت هنناقش مع بعض فيها التحديات والمشاكل اللي بتواجه تطور الاستزراع السمكي. ازاي ننتقل إلى استزراع سمكي منضبط أو صديق للبيئة؟ ايه التحديات اللي بتواجه القطاع في النقله ديت. فهنسمع من مجموعه مختلفه، هنسمع من الزملاء من معمل مركزي بحوث الاسماك، هنسمع من الشركاء المشروع، هنسمع من المستفيدين. فنبدا السؤال ده نوجهه للزملاء في المعمل المركزي بحوث الثروه السمكيه، الدكتور احمد دياب، بما انك بدات معانا المشروع.
وعضو المكتب الفني لوزير الزراعة والمسؤول عن ملف السمك في مكتب معالي الوزير. يعني في البداية طبعا ده شرف كبير ليا إن أنا أبقى موجود مع حضراتكم، سواء شركاء في المشروع أو أساتذة أفاضل علماء متخصصين في الثروة السمكية. والمشروع إحنا بدأناه كمعمل مركزي بحوث الثروة السمكية من حوالي أكتر من 3 سنين مع الدكتور أحمد نصر الله والدكتور أيمن عمار رحمة الله عليه، ودلوقتي الدكتور رفعت هو اللي بيكمل الموضوع. بالتأكيد القطاع فيه وبالتحديد في الآونة الأخيرة بعض المشاكل، سواء المتعلقة بمستلزمات الإنتاج، وإن احنا ندور على حلول كبيرة جدا ليها، سواء ندرة المية والمشاكل اللي بتقابلنا فيها، سواء إن أنا هروح للتغيرات المناخية واللي بيحصل فيها، وإن أنا لازم يبقى عندي فيه سمارت تكنولوجي أقدر إن أنا أستخدمها، سواء تكنولوجي لها علاقة بالإنتاج أو بمستلزمات الإنتاج أو كل مصدر من المصادر اللي أنا أقدر إن أنا أستغلها في قطاع الثروة السمكية. بالتأكيد والدكتور أحمد كنا شغالين من فترة كده على موضوع ليه علاقة بالسمارت تكنولوجي بس في حاجة تانية يعني، وحطينا رؤية كويسة جدا نقدر إن احنا نطبقها خصوصا في ضمن التغيرات المناخية اللي احنا بنسميها الجامحة في الآونة الأخيرة والتأثيرات الكبيرة. في بعض النقط المضيئة اللي حصلت في القطاع في الفترة الأخيرة، ممكن يكون الأزمات اللي حصلت سواء الأزمة الروسية الأوكرانية وارتفاع الأعلاف أو جائحة كورونا واللي ترتب عليها بعد كده، في بعض المشاكل اللي موجودة في القطاع واللي نقدر إن احنا يعني نبص عليها أو نلقي الضوء عليها. ولكن فعلا التوجه نحو التكنولوجيا واستخدام التكنولوجيا والاي سي تي تحديدا هيبقى ليه مردود كبير جدا.
خلينا نفوكس على السؤال بس، لان ده هنطلع اجابه منه هتفيدنا كتير. ايه اللي بيعوق التوسع في استخدام نظم الزراعه الصديقه للبيئه؟ ايه المعوقات؟
هو اكيد بالبدايه هيبقى المينتاليتي ان انا ممكن يكون انا كمزارع سمك انا ما عنديش القابليه ان انا اقدر ان انا اطبق حاجه وادخل في ريسك ان انا ممكن اخسر كتير جدا في ان انا اطبق نظام. فالطبيعي ان انا لما اجي اطبق نظام اطبقه انا كحكومه او اطبقه انا كمسؤول كبير او زي ما بقول كده ايه احد المزارع الكبيره المتخصصه في المجال ممكن يكون هي ليها الرياده ان هي تطبق ودوت يبقى نموذج.
فمحتاجين ديمونستريشن
اكيد وبلا شك، يبقى في نقل معرفه، يبقى في ارشاد، يبقى في تحول رقمي، يبقى في اقدر ان انا اوصل قنوات كبيره جدا تقدر ان هي توصل المعلومه سواء عن طريق باحث او عن طريق متخصص للمزارعين الاسمين.
لو انا مكان الدكتور ريتشارد هيسال السؤال ده انا هساله لك. طيب انتوا خلال المشروع كان في ديمونستريشن وكان في تكنيكال نوليدج، ليه ما وصلتش للمزارع؟
لا هي وصلت للمزارع، وصلت للمزارع اكيد، بس علشان احنا اشتغلنا مع الناس من يعني من فتره كبيره جدا فهو كان في ثقه فدوت عازز ان كل معلومه كانت بتوصل لهم عن طريق الفريق او عن طريق الزملاء اللي كانوا بيشتغلوا، فلو كانت لها مردود ايجابي كويس. ممكن يكون عشان الزملاء كمان كان عندهم اكسبيرينس كويسه في الفتره اللي قبل كده كمان، فقدروا ان هم كان عندهم زي داتا بيس كده قدروا ان هم يعني يعتمدوا عليها، وكان وجود الثقه هتفرق كتير جدا ان هم يقدروا يطبقوا اي تكنولوجي جديده تم الاقتياد بيها في المشروع او تم العمل من خلالها في المشروع.
طيب نروح للزملاء في القطاع الخاص ونسالهم عن رايهم ايه اللي بيعوق التوسع في نظم الاستزراع السمكي المنضبط او الذكيه او الكلايمت سمارت اكوكلتشر. نروح للدكتور تامر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اعتقد من اكبر المعوقات في التوسع في النقطه ديت هو عدم توفر الطاقه. عدم توفر الطاقه ده بيؤدي لان المزارع عشان يقدر يستخدم الانظمه دي اللي معظمها بيعتمد على الطاقه هيبقى محتاج ان هو يجيب ديزل، فهيبدا يدخل في تكلفه اعلى للطاقه، فدي عائق قوي جدا بالنسبه للنقطه دي. الحاجه الثانيه من وجهه نظري انا كمفرخ ببص للنقطة دي إن الأنظمة دي معظمها محتاجة إصبعيات، وإصبعيات من مصادر محترمة. فلو في كان عندي بروجكت كده حاجة زي شركات أو الطلبة الخارجين الصغيرين يبدأوا يعملوا زي جروبس مع بعضهم بحيث يشتغلوا على سلسلة التفريخ، بس ياخدوا من الستارتر ويوصلها لفينجر لينكس تكون مناسبة بعد كده لنظم الاستزراع دي، بحيث ما يبقاش المفرخ هو اللي بيشتغل على كل المرحلة. يبقى في مفرخات خاصة انها بتطلع بس الهبوشة، بعد كده في جروب تاني بيشتغل على المرحلة الوسطية، بعد كده في مزارع بتسمن، فكل سلسلة تؤدي للتانية. فدي من وجهة نظري إحدى المعوقات اللي بتعوق التوسع في هذا النظام.
شكرا. يعني ممكن نلخص، شكرا يا فندم، ممكن نلخص وجهة نظر حضرتك ان احنا محتاجين مصادر طاقة
أكيد
متجددة او وصول تيار كهربائي للمزارع في المناطق المعزولة.
تمام.
محتاجين نعمل تطوير لشغل المفرخات
هايل
بما يتناسب مع الظروف ومع معالجة المياه، وتخصص المفرخات تكون متخصصة في أحجام مختلفة.
هايل يا فندم، هو ده بالظبط اللي أنا أقصده.
شكرا. شكرا يا دكتور. Our colleagues online, if you allow me to ask Dr. Menwelit, from your experience, what is the limitation to go for climate smart aquaculture, scaling climate smart aquaculture in Ethiopia?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. Yeah, Yeah, as I try to explain in my presentation, yeah, aquaculture is it's at an infant stage. It's growing. A number of farmers are maybe are having this farm yard ponds, small size. Usually, it's not like Egypt. It's not big one. And there are a few people nowadays who are interested to invest in this sector. So we have all the resource, especially the land, lowland, maybe mid-altitude and even in highlands, especially in the lowlands. There is a study done that really very suitable land in available for aquaculture development. But the challenge is the feed and seed issues, and maybe lack of all those technical capabilities, maybe to support this increasing maybe sector. And with all those potentials, I think things are growing bit by bit, but still more involvement is needed. And as it has been raised by Dr. Richard regarding to the relevance of of these extreme climatic events, it's very important. Now resources are getting scarce, and the government is doing some kind of activities in the lowlands. So we can go for integrating these irrigation activities in the lowlands, including maybe aquaculture, cage culture, and the like, so that the issue of food security could be alleviated. So I think
thanks, Dr. Manwalit.
Yeah.
Because of the time. So can we move to, we'll start with you for the next question, which is, are the existing legislation promote scaling of climate smart aquaculture in Ethiopia?
Yeah, pardon, may you repeat it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are the existing legislation or policies support scaling climate smart aquaculture in Ethiopia?
Yes, of course. We may not have the direct legislation. We have the aquaculture strategy, and in these days we are developing the master plan for fisheries and aquaculture right at this time. And there is much more interest to have this maybe sector being developed, because production from the natural water woods is declining from time to time. There is stunt growth whereby the quality animal protein from fish should be well maybe sought for this purpose. So there is much interest. Of course, investment may be not be as such in this regard. So there is nothing that really hinders us, and there is actually encouragement by the government to include maybe aquaculture in some of the structures built for irrigation purpose. Yes, of course.
Thanks a lot. So yes. Can we repeat this question to Eritrea, Mr. Adonai? Are the existing legislation or regulation support taking up climate smart aquaculture? The example in Eritrea could be integrated agriculture, aquaculture, cage farming. Are the legislation promoting this to take it in national scale? Over to you.
Right, thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Currently, the legislation we have is for, but for the aquaculture practice, we don't have the right.
Okay, line is breaking in your side.
Yeah, with the new project, there's a plan to.
Okay, Mr. Adonai, the line is breaking in your side. You can write your response in few lines and send to us. Okay.
All right.
Yes, thanks a lot. Okay. So we'll repeat this question to our colleagues here in the room, and we'll start this time from Fisheries Agency. Who's from Fisheries Agency here to respond? Okay, let's go to Dr. Rifat as official representative. التشريعات الحالية واللوائح والقوانين تشجع توسع في الاستزراع السمكي المنضبط.
الأخوة زملاتنا في الجهاز محدش موجود؟
في زملاء موجودين بس يعني
احنا الحمد لله مع إنشاء جهاز حماية وتنمية البحيرات والثروة السمكية تقريبا التشريعات القديمة اللي كانت بتحد من إنتاج الثروة السمكية الآمنة النظيفة انتهت. يعني احنا الأول كان عندنا تشريعات بتحد إن احنا ما نستعملش المياه الأنهار أو الآبار أو المياه في الصحراء. فالنهاردة في تشريعات جديدة. أولا كانت زمان اللي نقول إن الأرض غير صالحة للزراعة وجنب مصرف زراعي عشان ناخد مياه الصرف. احنا خلاص لغينا في القانون الجديد استعمال مياه الصرف، يعني المياه برضو فاحنا النهارده التشريعات الجديده زي ما الدكتور احمد قال بتشجع الاستثمار في الاستزراع السمكي النظيف الامن. طبعا كل الحاجات ديت. وبعدين احنا عاملين استراتيجيه امان حيوي على مستوى الجمهوريه وحاطين استراتيجيه جديده. يا ريت المزارعين كلهم ينفذوها. واحنا تقريبا عملنا دورات تدريبيه على مستوى مصر كلها الجهاز مع المركز الدولي للاسماك مع المعمل المركزي للبحوث الثروه السمكيه وكل المواضيع ديت بتشجع الاستثمار السمكي في الاسماك النظيفه والصالحه للتصدير تحت المواصفات الاوروبيه المطلوبه واعلى مواصفات. يعني احنا الحمد لله من اكبر انتاج الاسماك في العالم، لنا رقم كبير. وفي افريقيا الناس كلها لما بقعد مع بتوع الاتحاد الافريقي في الاجتماعات يعني هم كلهم بيحسدونا على انتاجنا وعلى سمكنا وعلى الاسماك بتاعتنا. يعني
شكرا مهندس. وخلينا المهندس محمد جمال والدكتور مجدي. المهندس محمد جمال من القطاع الخاص، فناخد فكر القطاع الخاص.
لسه ما زال لحد النهارده في تشريعات بالنسبه للمفرخات ومحاربه توزيع الزريعه من المفرخات الخاصه. لحد النهارده العربيات اللي بتحمل زريعه من عندنا من المفرخات، لحد النهارده العربيات اللي بتحمل زريعه من المفرخات بتطاردها بعربيات خاصه من المحافظه بتاعه كفر الشيخ، حتى لو معاه تصريح بنقل الزريعة من هيئة الثروة السمكية، كأنه هو شايل مخدرات أو بيعمل جريمة. ودي تشريع للأسف مش عارفين نوصل لحل مع الناس دي، أو تشريع يعني يسهل لنا موضوع إن احنا نشيل زريعة من إنتاجنا، ما بنسرقش زريعة من البحيرات أو من البحار ونبيعها. دي بتعوق تنمية كبيرة إن احنا بنوزع. يعني لو في ناس عايزة زريعة مثلا محافظة الشرقية، صعب إن احنا بننقلها، يا بننقلها بمجازفة يا إما ندفع فلوس عشان ننقلها. دي حاجة مش كويس. طبعا الطاقة نفسها ما زلنا لحد النهاردة الطاقة هي أكبر المعوقات بالنسبة للإنتاج بعد العلف. فإحنا كنا لنا ترتيب عالميا لو الثالث، احنا بعد شوية هنوصل للعاشر والخمستاشر والعشرين لو فضلنا بنفس الطريقة اللي احنا ماشيين بيها دي. وأنا واحد من الناس كنت بنتج 1500 طن في السنة، كنت زارع 400 فدان. حاليا ما بنتجش أكتر من 300 طن وهقللهم بعد كده برضه.
شكرا يا باشمهندس محمد. الزملاء في جهاز حماية البحيرات ليهم وجهة نظر تانية نسمعها وننتقل للدكتور مجدي.
السلام عليكم. مهندس ابراهيم، مدير محطه تحضير الخشعه، تابع لجهاز حمايه البحيرات تنميه الثروه السمكيه. ليا تعقيب بس على كلام الدكتور محمد بالنسبه لنقل الزريعه، ان هو بيقول المفرخات مرخصة. ما بيتمش ضبط الزريعة إلا المخالف. لو المفرخ مرخص بيطلع تصريح، والتصريح بينختم من المحافظة أثناء وجوده في العربية، لا يتم ضبط السيارة. بيتم ضبط السيارة المخالفة بس، اللي هي محملة وبدون تصريح. دي النقطة اللي كنت ناوي، اللي حبيت أوضحها بس ردا على كلام إن الجهاز والمحافظة بتحارب الإنتاج السمكي.
شكرا يا باشمهندس، شكرا يا فندم. نروح للدكتور مجدي صلاح الدين.
شكرا يا دكتور احمد على دعوتكم الكريمه. وانت حضرتك سالت سؤال كبير قوي من المعوقات لنظم الزراعه السمكي. ده سؤال شكله بسيط جدا، لكن هو تحديدا ده مالتي دايمنشنال. ما تقدرش تقول ده واحد بس هو ده المعوق او ده او ده. واحد يقول علف والتاني يقول ان طاقه، لا اتس مالتي دايمنشنال. وانا هبتدي من منطلق الشغل اللي انا بشتغله. انا بشتغل في وزاره الري بقالي فوق كتير، يعني مش هقول لكم كام سنه. واعتقد من المعوقات الاساسيه كانت الميه. واعتقد برضو موضوع الفريش ووتر ده موضوع مهم جدا الايام اللي جايه. اللي احنا كنا شويه الميه اللي كانوا عندنا 55.5 مليار، احنا مش عارفين هنكمل بيهم ازاي، واحنا عددنا بيزيد. وبالتالي الاستراتيجيه بتاعتنا دلوقتي المفروض انها تقلل استخدام الفريش ووتر وتتجه لبدائل اخرى، وابسطها اللي هو البراكش ووتر. وانا سعدت بالحديث كما احد الاخوات هنا بتشتغل في المغرة وبتقول ان بتطلع انتاج كويس من البولتي هناك في المغرة فيها براكش ووتر. براكش ووتر ده ممكن هنا يعملها الانتجريتد اكواكلتشر اجريكلتشر. فالالترناتيف الواحد من التشالنجز انها تبتدوا تتجهوا من الفريش ووتر سلولي للبراكش ووتر، عشان بعد كده نبقى عارفين نتحرك ازاي. دي نقطه. النقطه الثانيه، احد الدكاتره الافاضل قال المينتاليتي. المينتاليتي كل اللي موجودين هنا مخهم في السماء، وعايزين باي طريقه كان ان يشتغلوا في السمك وعشان ينتجوا. يبقى المينتاليتي مش هي الاساس، المفروض ان هي طريقه التفكير ازاي ان انا احصل على سمك بتكلفه اقل وانتاجيه كبيره. طب انا هعمل كده ازاي؟ لو حضراتكم تذكروا، واغلبكم طبعا سنه صغير، البلطي من حوالي 40 سنه او 50 سنه ما كانش في مزارع بلطي كتيره، كانت قليله جدا. وكان معانا الاخ اسماعيل رضوان، وبعد كده كان هو من الناس اللي رجعوا من الخارج، وكان ابتدى يشتغل في سمكه البلطي لحد ما ابتدت البلطي في وقت معين ابتدت تبقى تعمل بومينج. طب ليه؟ لان كان في حاجه اسمها بايلوت وورك او بايلوت او ديمونستريشن بروجكتس. الناس بتشوف الاول انت عملت بايلوت نجح، فاحنا عندنا في مصر عاده اللي ينجح نكرره على طول، سواء حلو زي الكيجز برضه. وانا حضرت هذا الموضوع ده في كفر البطيخ قبل كده. واحد من الكيجز نجح، بس اصحابه كلهم في كفر البطيخ اللي باع ذهب واللي عمل حاجه علشان يعمل كيجز. جت بعد كده محطه كهرباء كانت بتغسل حمض كبريتيك، كل الداون ستريم السمك مات كله، كانت مصيبه. فبرضه هنا البايلوت لازم تبقى مفهومه هتتعمل ازاي. في حاجه مهمه جدا، ودي انا يعني اعتقد بقى لها 10 12 سنه كانت وزاره الزراعه عاملاها، اللي هي حاجه اسمها اكستنشن سيرفيس. الاكستنشن سيرفيس ده اللي هو كان الارشاد الزراعي. يا جماعه ده مهم جدا الارشاد الزراعي. كانت ناس كتيره قوي تبقى مش عارفه تسمد، مش عارفه تعمل حاجه، فبيروح يجيبوا المهندس بتاع الارشاد الزراعي. وانا حضرت الكلام ده في الفيوم. الناس لها كانت ادد فاليو كبيره جدا. والارشاد الزراعي ما كانش بس بيتكلم في موضوع الزراعه، لكن كان برضه بيتكلم في حاجات اخرى تهم المزارع. فمعنى كده ان الاكستنشن سيرفيس ده لو رجع تاني والمهندسين الزراعيين عندهم الخبره الكافيه انهم يمدوا المزارعين بالاسماك او بيمدهم بالانفورميشن اللازمه لاستزراع الاسماك، ده هيبقى له دور مهم جدا. في حاجه كمان، احنا قبل كده كنا بنتكلم مع الورلد فيش في حاجه اسمها سنتر اوف اكسلنسي للاستزراع السمكي. السنتر اوف اكسلنسي مش في حاجه واحده بس، كان يقود في التفريغ، قد يكون في الفيش ديزيز، قد يكون في احد الانشطه. هل يا ترى الورلد فيش هو يعتبر دلوقتي السنتر اوف اكسلنسي في مصر to provide all the necessary information، ولا محتاجين ان يبقى فيه ستراكشر معروف ان اللي يتزنق في السمك، اللي حاسس ان في سمك مريض ومش عارف يعمل حاجه يروح له؟ دي برضو نقطة من النقاط قبل كده كانت معمولة في حتة تانية كتيرة، بس احنا هنا avoid الكلام ده. برضو السنتر اوف اكسلنسي مش بس عشان يساعد المزارع، لا ده عشان كمان فور داتا ديسيمينيشن. يعني انا عجبني قوي النهارده الفاكت شيت. الفاكت شيت ده انتوا ممكن يمر عليك كده حاجه بسيطه، لا الفاكت شيت ده من اهم مما تتخيل، مهم جدا جدا. وكان في اوبن يونيفرسيتي كان كل شويه بيعملوا فاكت شيت، فاكت شيت عن الامراض، فاكت شيت عن النيوتريشن، فاكت شيت عن الووتر كواليتي، وبعد كده عن المانجمنت، عن الهاتشري، عن انت. هم كانوا بيكتبوه بالانجليزي، وكنا احنا كلنا بالرغم ان احنا كنا اكاديميين، لكن كنا الفاكت شيت ده كان بيفرش لنا فرشه حلوه جدا ان احنا نفهم. فانا بشجع جدا ان يتكتب فاكت شيت بس بالعربي، وتكتب فيه ويعرف، وتتكتب من تحت خالص. لو انا عايز اسال اروح لمين، ده مهم جدا. انت كده بتاهل الناس اللي جايه انك يتصرف ازاي لما يتزنق. انما لو مجرد ان انا اقول له المشكله دي تتحل بكده، خلاص في ناس تانية هتحلها. شكرا.
شكرا استاذ دكتور مجدي. معلش عشان الوقت بس ننقل لسؤال تاني. الدكتور مجدي اثار نقطتين بس هندي عليهم تعليق سريع. النقطه الاولانيه مركز التميز في مصر حاليا المعمل المركزي لبحوث الثروه السمكيه مع جامعه قناه السويس واخدين سنتر اوف اكسلنس للاتحاد الافريقي. فالحمد لله احنا عندنا اكتر من سنتر اوف اكسلنس. بالنسبه للورد فيش عندنا سنتر اوف اكسلنسي مع اليوسك في برامج اليوسك. السؤال الثاني حضرتك اتكلمت على الفاكت شيت والعربي. في فاكت شيت باللغه العربيه المعمل عامله، وكاتبين فيه الكونتاكتس بتاع الدكتور رفعت. هو كان المفروض كذا كونتاكت، بس هو الدكتور رفعت كتب الكونتاكت بتاعته مشكورا، وده اصلا اللي بيقرا بالعربي ده عايز الدكتور رفعت، عايز المعمل. فده الحمد لله ايه موجود. شكرا لحضرتك. حضرتك اشرت نقطه ثالثه، والنقطه الثالثه دي هنبني عليها السؤال اللي جاي. ايه معوقات التوسع في انظمه او تطوير او حل مشاكل الزراعه السمكي التكاملي في مصر؟ ما عندناش افضل من اثنين الموجودين عندنا، ونبدا بمهندسه سميره اللي بتكافح كفاح مرير، ربنا يديها الصحه ويبارك فيها، في وادي المغرة في جهه مطروح. اتفضلي.
ربنا يبارك في حضرتك. بس المشكله عندنا في المغرة، احنا في وادي وانتوا في وادي. بيجوا لنا زيارات والله جميل ومحدش بيكمل معانا. فللاسف احنا ما عندناش حاجه كامله عندنا. احنا بنحاول على قد ما نقدر نوصل لشيء بالجهود الذاتيه المضنيه يعني صعبه، علشان توصل ان انت تعمل بدائل للعلف. حضرتك عارف سعر العلف كام دلوقتي؟ كل الناس توقفت عن انها تشتغل في السمك، سايبينه لحاجه واحده بس، لان الميه تطلع مخصبه للري. يعني احنا حاليا السمك بالنسبه لنا ماده تخصيب للري، كانك بتحط سماد. لكن ان انا اطلع منتج زي ما كنت بحلم او هشتغل فيه، ده ما عادش بقى موجود في احلامنا دلوقتي. احنا دلوقتي شغالين على بدائل العلف بالاجتهاد الشخصي مش بالعلم. يعني حاطين اللي هو بتاع الاسمكونه دوت لسه قلنا عليه، جبنا الطن ب 8000 فجاه بقى 15000 بعد اسبوع بعناه. يعني بطلنا نتعامل فيه. كان عندنا زراعه شعير، جبنا الشعير من منطقتنا وابتدينا نحط الشعير لسه ناشف ما كلوش، بليناه ما كلهوش، طحناه كلو. فبنتعلم مننا فينا، ما حدش بيقول لنا تعملوا ايه. دلوقتي احنا يعني بعد ما كنا هنطلع سمك ما اعتقدش في مصر زيه بشهاده الجميع، باللي كل واللي اشترى، طعم مختلف، جوده مختلفه، سمك نقي ما فيهوش تلوث. كان هدفنا التصدير. محوا الفكره تماما من دماغنا ان احنا نشتغل هذا الامر. ناس كتير عملت احواض وكلفت بلاستيك وكلفت وكلفت وكلفت. في مشكله، حضراتكم بتتكلموا عن موضوع تقليب الهواء والميه والكلام. احنا مش محتاجين تقليب هواء كهرباء، احنا التقليب طبيعي. الرياح مخلينا اخر كلام يعني. فالهواء عندنا الميه عماله بتتقلب، الاكسجين داخل طبيعي في الميه. فعندنا حاجات كتير قوي ما فيهاش مشاكل، غير ان احنا اصلا ما عندناش حاجه تتعمل. يعني عارف ازاي حضرتك؟ فهي المشكله ان احنا سابونا لله كده، فاحنا معانا ربنا يعني. فاتمنى يبقى في امل ان الناس حتى تفكر ان المنطقه ما دام فيها مشكله في الملوحه، يبقى المنتج السمك يصرف على التكاليف العاليه دي، واعتقد ان ده مش هيحصل فيه حاجه.
شكرا لحضرتك. المهندسة سميرة في وادي المغرة. وادي المغرة من المناطق الحديثة الاستصلاح، واللي كان من سنتين ثلاثة كان الوصول للوادي جوه كان مستحيل. بدأت الطرق تتحسن ويحصل بعض الحاجات. فيعني إن شاء الله نتمنى يكون في تواصل، في فاكت شيت بالعربي، في بيانات الدكتور، تليفونات الدكتور رفعت. المعمل بعمل حاجات
بعد اذنك دكتور احمد، احنا عاملين
عشان الوقت، الله يكرمك معلش، عشان بس الوقت بتاعنا مش هندخل في تفاصيل كل نقطه. المهندس حاتم، التكامل النباتي السمكي باستخدام الطاقه المتجدده، ايه اللي بيحد من انتشاره؟
هو احنا في التجربه بتاعتنا الحقيقه ان السمك عنصر مهم جدا علشان التسميد من اجل زراعه اورجانيك، وده فاكتور مهم جدا لو اتاخد في الحسبان. يمكن عندنا طلاب بيجوا للتريننج، طلبه بزنس ادمنستريشن، ابتدوا يدرسوا الجزئيه دي، ان ازاي ان انا استفيد من مخلفات الاسماك في اني اطلع منتج اورجانيك. يعني مش بوفر بس الاسمده، لا انا كمان هطلع بمنتج اورجانيك. يمكن طبعا المشكله كمان في الطاقه المستهلكه، ودي اصبح سهل حلها جدا بالطاقه الشمسيه. يمكن طبعا في النهار بتبقى سهله، في الليل بيبقى فيه ستورج لبعض الوحدات. اتوقع الفترات اللي جايه مع دخول وحدات الهيدروجين، وده يمكن مجهود شخصي او مجهود نقول ان هو من الجامعات، لان تفكير كل الدول سواء كانت في مصر او الدول العربيه الهيدروجين للتصدير. الحقيقه ان بعض الناس دلوقتي بتفكر في هيدروجين استخدامه كطاقه، فمعاه منتج ثانوي. يمكن دكتور صلاح حجاج اول واحد اقترح استغلال الاكسجين انه يكون بديل للبلاور، وده هيكون فاكتور تاني. فهنا الانتجريشن هيكون مهم جدا كفاكتورز ان احنا نعدي بيه الازمه. انا عارف طبعا اسعار العلف يعني مخليانا كلنا مش عارفين نشتغل في الاستزراع السمكي، لكن لابد نعدي المرحله بالفوائد اللي بنتكلم فيها. انتاجيه المحاصيل وحضرتك اتكلمتي عنها، لا العائد اللي جاي من استخدام مخلفات الاسماك اعتقد انه عالي جدا جدا، و يعني نقدر نقول ان هو هيعوض معايا جزء. الجزء الثاني اللي هو استهلاك الطاقه، الاعتماد على الطاقه الشمسيه او الاكسجين اللي في مراحل متقدمه ان شاء الله. اتوقع في خلال 6 شهور هيكون في وحدات كتيره جدا للطاقه شغاله بالهيدروجين، والمنتج الثانوي بتاعه اللي هو الاكسجين هيتم استخدامه. فلو عملنا التكامل الموضوع هيتم بنجاح. لكن لو خدنا استزراع سمكي لوحده اعتقد ان الامر صعب، ولو خدنا زراعه بدون اسماك الامر صعب. فلا بد من دمج الاثنين مع بعض.
شكرا يا فندم. باشمهندس حاتم الرومي، رئيس مجلس اداره شركه تريبل ام، ودي شركه رائده في استخدامات الطاقه المتجدده في الزراعه وفي انشطه كتير، وعنده محطه بحثيه كبيره وشغال في حاجات كويسه. طيب نروح لاثيوبيا. دكتور من وليد، ايه اللي اهم الدروس المستفاده من تطبيق التكامل النباتي السمكي والمزارع التكامليه اللي انتم شغالين معاها في اثيوبيا؟ So I have to see the question in English. Okay. Dr. من وليد.
Yeah.
The question is, what is the lesson learned from application of integrated agriculture, aquaculture in Ethiopia, and how to scale it more?
Yeah, as I've said in my presentation, I think for best use of the existing resources, integration is very important from our context. So we have to integrate fish with vegetables, with fruits, and with livestock. And we have also rice in some part of the country. So I think this integration should be maybe supported, or should be helped out with support, especially with the rice, how we can keep maybe the fish within the individual farmers. And we need to get production from both systems, one helping the other. So I think in Ethiopian context, the issue of integration and maybe cages in some of the reservoirs is a primary priority. So I think we managed to help these systems. These systems are already existing. The extension people, they are trying to select maybe integrated type of systems. but still the seed issues, they have to be incorporated and they need to get maybe technical support. Otherwise, most of the maybe small scale, maybe fish farmers, they are integrating, and it's very important, and we need to help this system. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Mourid. As you mentioned, yes, integrated agriculture, aquaculture are fragile to change in seed and feed prices. We saw this in Armenia. We saw this in Wadi al-Mughra, as Ms. Engineer Samira mentioned now. So they are sensitive to change in feed and seed price.
Sure.
But as the baseline mentioned, there is several thousand of fish ponds in Ethiopia, small ponds, which could be part of integrated system. How we can scale this up in future? How to consider this, or to develop this or deploy this as an IAA system?
Yeah, sure. The small scale nature of these farmers is still, I think, is something that we should help out. We should have clusters, and so that we can provide some of the inputs, like the materials you supplied us. So I think there are a lot of these maybe ponds all over the nation. During our maybe training demonstration, we managed to bring representatives all over the region, and this is the one they were asking us to let our hands with these feed issues, follow-up issues, so that I think we can achieve this improved nutrition, maybe food security and the like. So we need to have a systematic way of just bringing these people to help them in large scale. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We'll move to the following question, but I prefer to start with the following question with you, as you are online. For Mr. Adonai. How to foster cooperation to scale up aquaculture or to improve aquaculture performance around in our countries? How to foster cooperation between project countries?
Okay, integration is very important at local level and at the international level. The one that you did it was really, I mentioned it, very important. Personally, I never thought of visiting Egypt, but this project, because of you, because of IFAD, that we could be able to see the tremendous effort you are doing in aquaculture as a very important sector. So in our context, there is a need, there is an interest to develop this sector. And we developed aquaculture strategy in 2007, I remember. And with that one, there was the interest to have these hatcheries in different regions, maybe this food, fish feed processing maybe centers, still because of the budget, and there is little progress. So projects like ACliSAT and others, they are very important to bring international experiences, capacity building, and experience sharing is very important in this regard, so that people will learn by doing. So I hope and these things will continue in the future endeavors, and then will help these needy for farmers. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. We'll move to Mr. Adonai to ask the same question. How we to foster cooperation between the project partners to scale up aquaculture?
Hopefully, the partnership with, and we're also strengthening it. We will have, I think, we will have
Mr. Adonai, your line breaking. You can turn off the video to allow the signal to work. Just turn off the video, not the sound.
I think I will write it. I will answer in writing.
But your sound now is better. Can you try again? Okay. Now we will move with this question to Dr. Rifat, Director of CLAR Center Laboratory for Aquaculture Research. And to end this discussion, Dr. Rifat. ازاي نزود التعاون ما بين البارتنر institutions to foster aquaculture development.
نزود التعاون بالتعاون المستمر والاتصال المستمر المباشر بيننا وبين المزارعين وبين بالدورات التدريبيه، بالورك شوب، بالزيارات الميدانيه، بالتجمعات، ننتقل للتجمعات بتاعت المزارع، اصحاب المزارع يجوا لنا المعمل ويجوا لنا المركز الدولي للاسماك، ونعمل دورات تدريبيه واجتماعات دوريه نشوف مشاكلهم ونحاول نساعدهم في حلها.
ده بالنسبه للمزارعين، لكن بيننا وبين البارتنر، بين المعمل وام ام ار، بين المعمل وبي دي يو وخلافه، ممكن تمتد بلاد تانية.
لازم المشاريع تستمر بالتعاون المشترك، وان شاء الله ربنا يكرمنا مع الجهات الممولة تساعدنا ونعمل دايما تعاون مشترك بيننا وبين البارتنر، ويبقى التعاون مستمر، ونحاول بقدر الامكان يبقى في اتصال مباشر بيننا وبين بعض، ننقل الخبرات وننقل الادفانسد ريسيرش للاماكن دي.
بما ان احنا بنتكلم في الموضوع ده، الاسبوع اللي فات بدانا نتكلم على مذكره تفاهم ما بين المركز الدولي للاسماك ووزاره الثروه السمكيه البحريه، في وزاره الموارد البحريه في حكومه اريتريا، على التعاون المشترك ما بعد المشروع اللي احنا بنتكلم فيه ما بعد ACliSAT. Sorry, I switch to English. احنا as we speak about collaboration between partner institution, last week we were discussing developing MMO between Ministry of Marine Resource and WorldFish to foster collaboration in aquaculture and fisheries in Eritrea and WorldFish, and for knowledge exchange and capacity buildings, and which will reflect in development of fisheries in Eritrea. And we're looking really, we discussed this briefly with BDU, but this is there. In terms of CLAR, we have very strong collaboration and day-to-day collaboration. If you allow me to announce that yesterday we have signed a project with Norway Ministry of Foreign Affairs to fund developing of renewable or use of renewable energy in aquaculture value chain in Egypt. And under this contract will be collaboration with CLAR as national partner, will be collaboration with M company as private sector, and the inventors will be collaboration with the university. With this discussion, Dr. Richard, can we move to you to give your highlights and direction? Over to you, Dr. Richard.
I didn't get this. I didn't get the specific question. Sorry.
Okay. The question is, now the discussion, we discussed 4 questions about how to scale up, what's the challenge, what's the lesson learned, and how to scale up integrated agriculture and climate smart system, and then how to strengthen collaboration between partner institutions over after the project. So the question is for not a question, is for you now to give us your highlights and conclude this session.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just a minute. Okay. I don't know why there's an.
Yeah, we saw you.
because I'm trying to see if let me reconnect. Okay.
The closing remarks.
It's better now. Okay, it's now better, is it? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Richard. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I think I took both the phone and the computer on at the same time. Yes, so thank you very much for the presentations. I think it is it's quite interesting, and the level of engagement. Now, the issue here is how to scale up the technologies of the integrated aquaculture, agriculture systems, and also the partnerships. Yeah, this is something that is quite fundamental for us. One of the things that we normally hope, especially through the grants, is that the grant is more like seed money, to be able to develop some innovations, some research techniques, some results, some approaches or technologies that we can actually be able now to scale up. Scaling up means that we move from where we are to be able to expand our scope in terms of more people can be reached with these technologies, more farmers can be able to take them up, and then we are able to see increased production and adoption of these technologies. Normally in IFAD, there are certain avenues that we normally expect to drive that. One of them is through the loan programs, because IFAD, as most of us know, it's an international financial institutions. We finance development programs across the world, and there are many programs in that. In the Eastern and Southern African countries now, we have quite a number of aquaculture projects. If I can mention some countries, we have a big program in Eritrea, which has been going on for the last since 2017. It's coming to completion, just been extended to next year. But we have a new program which is also being designed now. So that is in Eritrea. In Tanzania, we have a program. In Kenya, in Mozambique, we also have. I mentioned maybe I mentioned Kenya also, and there are also others which are coming. So we can see, that there are many programs that are particularly addressing aquaculture in particular. Now, taking the case of Eritrea, which is part of this program, this provided us an avenue, through which we could be able to extend some of these technologies, particularly in the inland areas. And I can give this as a good example where under this project, ACliSAT was working with the Ministry of Marine Resources, covering 21 dams. Initially, there were 15. We were able to move to 21. Now, in the new project, the government has requested that we move from 21 to actually 50. So we should be able to develop aquaculture in 50 dams. Now, this is quite a big endeavor, and it provides us a real opportunity to scale up some of the results from here. I was happy when I was in Eritrea just about a month ago, and we are seeing that for the first time now, Eritrea is now able to do some fingerling production in using some of the dam resources. So we are able to see hapas and some confined production within the dams. Obviously, there are still several things that need to be learned there, but of course, this is part of the development process. So what I'm trying to say is that this the big development programs normally provide us with the most direct opportunity for scaling up. In the case of Eritrea that I mentioned, I think the government is already interested, or at least consulting with WorldFish, if there could be a stronger partnership between Eritrea and WorldFish to be able now to develop further. We hope that this is going to come out successfully, because that will be something we can talk about as a good a result out of this program. In Ethiopia, I know there has been some mention even within the country program, if they could use the results from this project to to at least start some initiatives beyond this project. I believe that there should be at least some conversation between the IFAD country program and Bardar University. Hopefully, that we can start something from there. I'm a bit actually surprised with Egypt, because I've always thought that Egypt should be really leading in terms of giving the direction in Africa, and I really would encourage WorldFish in Egypt, based on the results of this project, to at least try some consultations with the IFAD country project, if they could have an opportunity to finance something, particularly on the post-harvest. I think you are really doing very well in the production, but in terms of marketing, being able to expand to the African market. The African market is so big. There's a lot of opportunity to sell, tilapia all across Africa. So I hope, out of this linkage with IFAD, that actually Egypt, WorldFish can actually, start something. Sometimes just starting small, but building up as you get more and more better results. So I believe, that this project, we have already, developed this. At least the initial starting of these partnerships, we know each other. We are talking about, WorldFish, talking to government of Eritrea. That is a big thing, because now you can be able to talk to each other. We are talking to Bardar University, talking to IFAD. I hope that can also extend to, speaking also through that link to the government of Ethiopia, to at least start something. I would like to see, around maybe Lake Tana, that we can start something. So this really is is the way that we would want to go in the coming years, and hopefully we'll see some things coming up. Thank you.
Recently, we met recently with IFAD Egypt, and IFAD Egypt is developing an initiative called NWAFI. This is a global initiative, and this initiative, they're doing it based on request from Ministry of International Development.
Okay.
And the Ministry of International Development is enforcing both Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Irrigation to work together in this initiative. So we are lucky we joined the move. And Dr. Qadir should be around today. He apologized and promised to send one of his colleagues. And we promised to have a meeting between him and Dr. Rifat to make sure that the CLAR is part of NWAFI. As I know, up to now, NWAFI is agriculture, but we need to integrate aquaculture in NWAFI initiative. This is a giga initiative, and this is a national-wide one. So, and as I know also from my colleagues here and there, that IFAD is taking the lead in this initiative even better than UN, better than World Bank, better than other organizations. So this is the best performance in WAFI development is taken care by IFAD Egypt. So we'll not leave Dr. Muhammad away. We'll follow with him to be part of this work in future.
Good.
منى over to you منى.
بالنسبة لنوفي أنا عشان عندي تفاصيل ممكن أقول للدكتور أحمد. هو نوفي هو عبارة عن 5 مشروعات، هي مش انيشيتيف، هي 5 مشروعات دول موجودين في الاستراتيجي بتاعة الحكومة المصرية للتغيرات المناخية. هم كانوا عبارة عن 9 مشروعات، تمت الموافقة على 5 مشروعات منها اللي تخص الزراعة تحديدا. في مشروعين هيقوم بيهم الإفاد، ونقطة كويسة جدا جدا إن يبقى قطاع السمك موجود فيهم، هو موجود فعلا فيهم في البروبوزال. وفي مشروعين هيقوم بيهم البنك الدولي، ليهم علاقة بأجهزة الإنذار المبكر وأنظمة الري، وفي مشروع هيقوم به البنك الإسلامي للتنمية. فبالتحديد النقطتين اللي هيقوم بيهم الإفاد هم ليهم علاقة بالري تحديدا وليهم علاقة بالزراعة، وداخل فيهم جزء للسمك. فدي هيبقى نقطة كويسة جدا إن يبقى فيها شغل من المنطق دوت، سواء الحكومة أو المركز الدولي للأسماك. شكرا.
Ahmed Diab is working in the minister office, so he's fully aware of Nawafi. Over to you, Min.
Before we move to the closing remarks, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners as well as our donor for their generous support for the project. I think across 5 years, we started in May 2019, and now we are approaching the end of the project by the end of this month. It's great, as I have mentioned, to see all the key elements of nutrition, aquaculture, agriculture, and the integration between both systems, as well as the gender component, and among others, combined as in one element in projects. The ACliSAT have approached and benefited around 1,000 farmers. It also helped a lot, like Dr. Richard said, of small-scale farmers and women retailers to adopt climate-smart approaches in the aquaculture. We have also impacted, as we have seen during the multi-discussions we had today, how the project is impacting on the sector in Egypt, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. On behalf of the WorldFish, I thank everyone for their attendance, as well as for accepting the invitation. As I also said, the gathering is very special. We are seeing each category of the aquaculture sector inside this room and online, starting from the smaller scale farmers, women retailers, moving to the private sectors, and the networks like AWFishNet. We have also the partners and among other university professors and academians. So we have everyone in the room, and this is so special because during the round table, there have been a lot of conclusions that have been conducted, a lot of the recommendations that we can take, as Dr. Richard said, as lessons learned and best practices, and try to mainstream those as lessons learned and peer exchange with other partners and other programs and projects. Coming to the end of the workshop, I would like to invite Dr. Richard Abila on behalf of the IFAD to give us some closing remarks for the powerful impact and the powerful closing of the ACliSAT. Over to you, Dr. Richard.
Thank you very much. I think I have to be okay.
I think we have lost Dr. Richard. Maybe he will be reconnected again.
Yes.
For some strange reason, every time I have to reconnect again. But so thank you very much. Let me first of all thank everyone. It has been, I think, one of the best organized forum. When it was being arranged, we were not, very sure, about how it was going to be conducted. But I think it has been done very well. I think all participants will agree with me on that. The presentations have been very good, very informative. We have had good discussions, good feedback. So thank you very much, WorldFish, Ahmed, and the team for organizing this very good event. Two of my colleagues whom were not there at the beginning, maybe I can take this chance to introduce them. Natalia, if you are there. Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes, Natalia, yes.
I cannot see myself. Okay. Hello, thank you, Richard. Thank you, everybody. My name is Natalia Spinel, and I work as program assistant. with Richard in fisheries. I also a thematic area. I also work with the thematic area of ICT 4D, agronomy, and livestock here in IFAD headquarters. Thank you for this workshop, very interesting, and for this very successful project of ACliSAT. Over.
Thank you. Natalia has been with the project right from the beginning, so she has, I think, been quite instrumental. Thank you very much. I don't know if Sylvia is joined or whether she's able. Sylvia, please.
Even if we are here as clones of Richard. Nice to see you all. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate. My name is Sylvia Frattini, and I am here with CMI IFAD headquarters in Rome to help with grants and knowledge management. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we have, there have been quite a good team supporting us all through this, and it's great, you know, that we are coming to a very, I would say, a very successful end of this particular grant. As I mentioned, from the IFAD side, we are quite pleased with the grant, what it has been able to achieve. I think it has been quite managed very well. The progress reports have been coming in time and in very good quality, and we are actually quite happy, you know, with the ratings of the project. So on behalf of IFAD, let me thank you all for the project, for making it very successful. And hopefully, you know, that the engagement between IFAD, WorldFish, and all the other partners, Ministry of Marine Resources, we are already, you know, working very closely. It's not going to end with this grant. Bardar University and our counterpart in Egypt, Center for Aquaculture Research, the Central Laboratory for Aquaculture and Research. So I believe, you know, that beyond this, we shall be able to continue engaging. There are always new opportunities coming, so don't be surprised, you know, if we approach you, you know, maybe for other opportunities that you can help in terms of being able to do more in developing aquaculture in the African region. So with those few remarks, let me hand over to you, Ahmed, and looking forward to future engagement. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Richard, and thanks for all our colleagues in IFAD. Also, I'd like to express thanks to our project team here in WorldFish. Let's start with WorldFish. We have our colleagues who are working very hard in the project, and especially for closing event. Let me start with Minna Misbah. Minna is the dynamo of this event, and you know Minna from the review in December. We have Ibrahim Salah, who is us. We have Ahmed Ashraf. He went for another training upstairs, so he's not in the room. We have Mr. Sameh, he's a accounts manager. We have our colleagues, fresh graduate intern, working with us. So all the team are working very hard. So I'd like to express thanks to WorldFish team. Then I move to CLAR to express thanks to our colleagues, Dr. Rifat Gamal, Director of CLAR, Dr. Ahmed Diab, and Dr. Muhammad Zahabi, Dr. Muhammad Talib, Dr. Sameh, and Dr. Haitham. So we have a big team from CLAR here, 6 colleagues. Then I would like to express thanks to BDU, and they will represent a very good performance, even with the short notes to join the project. But they have done very well, thanks to Dr. Minwet and his team. And final big thanks to our colleagues in MMR, Adonai and his team, and the ambassador. So my special regards to the ambassador. Then I would like to thank all our colleagues, participants in the room, who kindly give us their time and effort to join this session today, and to discuss and to present to partner and IFAD their experience and discuss potential collaboration in future. With this, I would say thank you very, very much and looking forward for future opportunity to working together in future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. We need also to thank Anis from our HQ, I think Thamaver as well, and Cho, Cian, everyone who worked on the publications, as well as for the smooth running of the virtual mood today, including our interpreters and as well as our assistant in the virtual mood. I hope you enjoyed our event, and we are looking forward to more with our standing partnership with the IFAD. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.